and we are live. I usually do the "No One Likes Us, Let Them Come" song. Sorry, not "No One Likes Us," but to give it a couple of minutes to build. So at the minute, I should have done that maybe, but I don't only do that on match days. So at the minute, I can't see anyone that's live. Oh, it's 22 people watching. So we'll give it a little minute. We're all
Play
good.
the "No One Likes Us" clothing ad.
Yeah,
oh, mate, we got to film another one of them ASAP because I cringe hard at that.
What's that?
Mate, it is so brilliant with slow shaking.
Mate, I just looked so awkward in it, man.
Oh, I thought you played the part well. You didn't look awkward. Right.
I get nothing but abuse off them.
We're in. Us four have been here for a long time. We've been having a bit of banter that will stay amongst that group. But welcome to the Den Debate, the 4th instalment. It's been a while, boys. Kenny, Kieran, Joseph. How are we all, boys?
Good,
mate.
Thank you.
Very good.
A few people nursing injuries, few people, myself included. Kenny's on Cocodamol and Lucasade. Joe's been feeling well. Kieran's only well one.
Touch wood anyway. I won't speak too soon.
Well, listen, injuries might be in place, but spirits are up, boys. We're on the up. Finally. The last podcast we did, Kenny, I think you was in that one with me. Joe was in the first one. Kieran, you was in the second. So you boys not been on together yet, have you?
No.
But since that's happened, this has happened. Our last 5 league results, things are on the up, basically. What's changed, Kia? What's changed for you? You wasn't Rowett out, was you? But you was starting to lean that way.
Yeah, I was. And I think the moment things started to change is when he actually made changes within the group and started seeing things that we were seeing as fans. And, you know, he was very, very stubborn in his own ways. And I think he's actually realised where we're going wrong. And I think as a manager, like, once you do that, it's encouraging because we're looking at it going, how the hell is he not seeing this now? Is he not seeing that? And he's come out in some of his interviews, I think it was with the South London Press, where he said, you know, where he was relying on Ryan Woods, and he was making a lot of valid points. And I think, and the performances, they've been great, but I just feel like they've been better. Anything's been better than, you know, the shit we've had recently. But yeah, I just think that he's made some good tactical changes.
Ken, we'll get on to Matt Smith in depth later, because I know he's your favourite player. But do you agree with Kieran? I do. I think, you know, he was point blank refusing to wake up and smell the coffee. Do you think he could see that the changes needed to be made and just being stubborn, or do you think he didn't really get what was, you know, the DNA of the club?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much Rowett out. I think he's just far too stubborn. I think at the moment he knows what he has to do to save his job. But someone who's stubborn stays stubborn, you know. He's changed it to save his job, but I think it's very short term for me. I think at the moment he's doing what he thinks he has to do to keep his job or stay in the division. But I think once we get a few more results, say for instance, if we hit the mark where we're not going to get relegated, I think that you'll find that will change again very, very quickly. In my opinion, I hope it doesn't, but I think he will revert back to his old ways.
Yes, it's a really. I mean, I'm glad you boys. I mean, I like doing these anyway, and I always say I'm not going to say a lot, and then can't fucking help myself. Don't shut up. But I'm really in a bit of turmoil here, and that's a good point that you've just raised, Ken. I said he needed to do things to keep his job, and he's now done those things. I'm talking about reluctantly playing a Millwall way, reluctantly playing more direct, bringing in players he didn't really want to bring in. Will he go back to the other way? Joe, you was always the G Rowett effect. You loved him. Do you still love him? Do you still think he's the man for the job after this little dip in form?
Yeah, I've not once in that point of that bad run did I actually say the words Rowett needs to go or Rowett out. But he has turned it around slightly, but I don't want to be premature and start throwing in the G Rowett effect again. If we win tomorrow, the G Rowett effect's coming back. I'll tell you that now. Some people were saying it should have been Saturday. I was like, I'm very much a realist. Don't get me wrong. I've been well chuffed with the past couple of results, the way we've played in spells, but don't want to get ahead of ourselves just yet, but that could change after tomorrow evening.
Do you know what? I know I said Rowett out. I know I gave my reasons why now. I won't keep going about that. I gave my reasons why now I think he's done the things he needed to do to keep his job. And that's a really interesting one that Ken said. Kieran, I think Rowett's playing a way that he's thinking, I don't want to, this is shocking. I don't want to be doing what I'm doing. I think he thinks he's a real tactician, tactical mastermind of the next Pep Guardiola. And what he's having to make his players do and watch himself as a manager is not what he wants to be doing, is it? Like Ken said. But do you think it's ever going to be able to change in the summer? Like Ken said, in the summer, he might go back to the way he was. But do you think, how are we going to do that? Do you think we're going to have the funds to get in the players that Rowett wants, the type of players?
I mean, you say that, it's a difficult one, really, because if you base it, if you're looking at since he's walked into the club, the signings that he's made, especially within this transfer window, have been signings to kind of benefit his system. Like especially with Kieftenbeld, I think people were a bit confused when that signing happened because people were thinking, we need to be playing an attacking midfielder, we need to play this, and especially when we was on that bad run, you thought, blimey, he's gone complete other way and bought a defensive midfielder, and it kind of looked like he was just going to be set in his ways completely. But I think, like I said, I don't know. I think I was a bit surprised because since Kieftenbeld's come in, I feel like we've played a bit different, and it weren't, the same football that it was before he arrived. And there was me looking at it thinking, he's brought in these signings and he's going to stick to what he knows. But quite clearly, I think he's bringing in signings to kind of try and progress us and move us forward and get us out of the rut. So, yeah, I think, I don't think he'll go back to that because I think he's realised now it weren't working and he's come out and said that.
I mean, he has signed Kieftenbeld up. We literally got him for nothing on a short-term deal. And George Evans is how old's Evans? Kia, about 20. He's about 26, 27.
I think he's in mid-20s.
In my opinion, they're not set the world alight players.
Yeah.
But they are the type of players that we need them. They're Millwall type players. Ken, what do you think of the new boys in general? Let's start with Kieftenbeld.
Yeah, I like Kieftenbeld. I think he's, as we all say, he's a proper Millwall player. He gets stuck in. He's strong, and I think some statistics you gave the other day, he's saved 2 off the line. He's always there. The good thing about Kieftenbeld is actually he completely pushes aside Ryan Woods on the pitch. Like Ryan Woods is obsolete when Kieftenbeld plays, which is exactly what, in my opinion, we need. So going forward, Kieftenbeld, I think, is going to be a big player for us. Definitely going forward.
And Joe, what do you think of Kieftenbeld and then Evans?
To be honest, if I'm honest with you, when we signed them two, I'm not going to lie, I'd never heard of them before. And I just thought, here we go, like more defensive midfielders. This ain't what we need. But now in the situation we are in with injuries, we do need them. And I think it's kind of underestimated the role they've played in this turn of form. Don't get me wrong. I've not really seen anything from either of them yet that's set the world alight. But what I do like is they seem to be just fairly solid players that go about their business, do the right things. And even though they are sort of defensive midfielders, I
think that I'm with you on that one. And I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't want to be critical because I really like the pair of them. But, I mean, a few people said, George Evans, unbelievable. I don't think he's unbelievable by any stretch, but I think he looks very comfortable in this division. I like that he's versatile. And what he has started to do, and I think this is Rowett getting him to do this as well with the long throws we've started launching in now, is he's very direct with his play, is Evans. Kieran,
sorry, mine completely cut out there. I don't know what happened.
That's all right, mate. No worries. No worries. Just talking more about Evans, and I was agreeing with you saying that he's not. A lot of people said, he's been unbelievable, Evans. And I'm like, it wasn't bowled over when they signed, but looking on reflection, I'd rather have those two all day long over than up until 3 weeks ago, Mason Bennett was performing and Ryan Woods. Kieran, if you think Gary Rowett went back now in time and saw what he saw and knows what he knows, do you think he'd sign Bennett and Woods all over again?
I think we're all lost here, aren't we?
No.
Oh, there we go. Yes, sorry, Tan, I completely missed that one.
I said, if you think, looking in reflection, there's a double signing of Keith and Bell and George Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Rowett would go back in time and instead of signing Woods and Bennett, do you think he'd sign Keith and Bell and Evans, or do you think he'd still go with them same players?
I think he would, because it's all with transfers as well. I think it's a big thing. It's all about timing, and I just think that at the time, Ryan Woods, and when he signed Ryan Woods and Mason Bennett, it was a time when we was on the up, and they was players to come in and kind of benefit that. And like you said, these two players ain't players that are going to set the world alight, because we're not a team setting the world alight. We're never going to get them players that are setting the world alight. But what they are is that they're comfortable and steady players, and they're the players that they're the best players in the position available that we can play in our system. And he's noticed that. And like I said, I think, I think he would sign it. Cause like I said, it's down to timing, really. We was at two different periods when them different players came in. But like I said, I'm happy with how they're doing so far.
Yeah, so that's a very fair point, mate. People say, Evans would improve in time. I think Evans is decent. I think Evans is fine. I've got a problem with him. He's a very solid player. Thought he played well Saturday. Let's move on to Saturday, because, again, this is where I want as much input from you boys as possible. I know you all did a full-time reaction, but I said all what I want to say in my post-match. The only thing I didn't say was that I thought Bradshaw did very well when he came on for one. And for two, I'm not being negative, but we was all, even in the live stream, we was all 15 minutes from losing our shit again, weren't we? Saying this is fucking awful, this is this, and then all of a sudden, throw all the subs on, go direct. And was it a tactical masterclass, Ken, or was it just basics? Get as many bodies on, get the ball forward, and cause upset on a shit pitch.
Well, I said on my post match, even at 1-0 down, I mean, I was quite happy. I actually saw quite a big improvement. Even in the first half, I felt like there was a big improvement in the game. But it doesn't take an analytical genius to realise what we needed to do. And Gary Rowett done it. So again, you have to take your hat off to Rowett, because he's made the changes at half time. But the type of players that we have in our squad are good enough to beat a team like Reading, in my opinion. So yeah, you could say it was a masterclass. You could say that them players should have started anyway, and we should have taken it to them right from the get go. But in true Millwall style, we've done it the difficult way. But like I say, 1-0 down, I almost had a smile on my face. 1-0, I had a smile on my face, and 2-1, I was ecstatic. So I was really happy with Saturday. I was really, really impressed.
I just think, I know, Kieran, you watch a lot of football, don't you? You watch all football. That is one criticism I've had of myself. I was watching us and going, this isn't very fucking good. But it's not very good across the board. Reading, the top 5 side here as well, had a couple of individual talented players, but they're fifth in the division. Is it there for the take in this division still? And what did you think of Saturday's performance? Did you think it was a good performance?
No, I didn't think it was a good performance. And, people say it's negative all they want. Like you said, Tam, yourself, me included, I was 15 minutes away from going, this is fucking abysmal.
And like Steve said, first 60 minutes against Sheffield Wednesday was awful, wasn't it? Yeah,
like I said, first half, they're the worst team in the league. And then the second half, when it was like the minute we made them changes, like we did against Sheffield Wednesday, we saw the bad side of them. And when, but to be fair, for a team like Reading, who was 5th, I didn't think they was really that good. And I've watched them, like you say, I watch a lot of football. I've watched them a lot this season. They look a really good side. I think we just do a very good job with nullifying teams. I think we've done that with Norwich the other week as well. But I said it to Connor. I said it to Connor all the time. I said, in my opinion, this is probably, people say maybe what they will, but I think it's the worst championship for years. In my opinion, I think it is that wide open. You think of how bad that we've been, and we're how many points away from the playoffs. We're how many points away from 7th. That's unheard of, especially with the amount of draws that we've had. I've been watching, I've watched a bit of Cardiff this season. In my opinion, they've been really, really poor. Obviously, big Mitch come in and turn them around. But look where they are now. They're 7th. All it takes at this moment in time is 3 or 4 results. And like I said, look at us. If we win tomorrow night, it just you know what I mean? I think this championship is wide open, and I think that's why I'd never like betting on this division, because like I bet on I had Huddersfield to beat Wickham, and Wickham come back 3-2. It is honestly, it's wide open, mate.
Anyone, you're right. We say anyone can beat anyone. Bad Nasher says there the standard of football is no good. Full stop. Good at nullifying teams. Now time to get good at scoring. We've scored a couple in the last. We scored 6 in the last 2, so we are getting there. But like you said, Kieran, as well, Steve says, with 2 points off 7th place. Joe, what did you think of Saturday's game? You still with us?
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm having problems. It keeps cutting out. I don't know if it's happening to anyone else, but it seems all right at the minute.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Well, yeah, you've been back in for a while, so I gathered you've been clocked on. I've been asking about performance Saturday-wise. Look, we can't say it's bad. We're on a 5 games unbeaten now. 2 points off 7th, like Steve says. It's good. It's fine, but like I think we've had a slice of luck in the last couple of games, which we deserve because we haven't had any. But what do you think of Saturday's game as a whole?
I think there were parts where we played well, but I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, the performance was brilliant." But I think there were spells where we were good, and there were spells where we looked like going back to our old selves. Like I think we controlled that game up until Reading's goal, sloppy play at the back, and then it all seemed to go wrong from there. The defence looked a bit shaky after that. I thought we just needed to sort of get to half time, really, and then even the start of the second half, we didn't look at our best, and then it all changed towards the final quarter of the game, and again we were brilliant towards the end. So yeah, it's tough to put my finger on Saturday's one. As I say, there were spells where we were really bad and spells
when we wasn't. I think you've lost you again, Joe. I'm going to put something on the screen now, and I go to you, Ken. It's off the ever-reliable Jake Sanders on Twitter. Millwall's previous 4 goals have all been scored by substitutes: Thompson, Bradshaw, Smith and Bennett. Gary Rowett has got him absolutely spot on in recent weeks. Has he, Ken, got it absolutely spot on?
It's so difficult.
Starting these players? Is he getting his starting 11 wrong, or is he getting it right with using these particular players as impact players? I know you're very fond personally of Matt Smith.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that people like Matt Smith should be a starter. The only reason why I think he should be at the moment is because I think he's the best of a bad bunch, and he always seems to deliver. But if we've got 20 minutes to go in any game and Matt Smith comes on, I mean, I'm absolutely buzzing. I wouldn't have picked any other player, even in the Championship, maybe to put on in the last 20 minutes. But you can say one or two things, can't you? Say it's a Rowett masterclass and he knows exactly what he's doing, or he's shit himself and he's got to get them players on to try and muster up to get a point back, or he's got or to win the game. I don't know what it is. I don't understand.
This is the thing for the first time ever on the channel, and I don't know. I don't know whether he's turning it around, whether we've had a bit of luck and we're just as bad as everyone else, or we are doing well. You can't say we're not, but is he picking the wrong players? Is he not seeing what players should be playing like he didn't with Ben Thompson for ages, or is he getting it spot on with his tactical substitutions? I don't know. I'll tell you one man who definitely thinks he's not getting it right is Matt Smith. Kieran, did you see the glare he gives to the bench when he scored?
Yeah. Although I think some people could possibly be reading into it a bit too much. But I just think I don't really think it's as much as I love Rowett. I think it's I don't think it's like a masterclass at all. I think it's forceful. I think what he thinks is going to work, and then in my opinion, I think it's But saying that, like I said, them players he brings on, and players that do make an impact, such as Matt Smith and Ben Thompson, I don't think they're 90-minute players. People can rave about Thompson all they like. I like Ben Thompson, but I don't want to see him falling arse over tip like for 90 minutes. Matt Smith, we've seen many a times, apart from Nottingham Forest, where he scored a hat-trick last season. I can't think of many other times where he started a game and he's had that effect. I think it's more when he comes off the bench. That's when he's got that effect. Like Kenny said, when he comes off the bench, there's not a better player really that you'd want up there. But I just think they're substitutions that Rowett has to make.
Paul Wise says to me, it's obviously aimed at me. It's just fair enough. He said it's not luck coming from behind twice. We do seem to have shown on the pitch, not maybe with Rowett who's starting, who's not, but we do seem to have got a little bit more bite about us, a little bit more togetherness, Ken, don't you think? What do you think? Because honestly, I thought it was so far gone. And it's not just the two new players coming, let's give that up to them. What do you think's happened, team spirit-wise? We do seem to, like Paul says, it's not luck coming from behind twice.
I think, again, I said this in a video, we've changed a lot of things recently. So before we were using Woods for every single set of play that we had in the game, whether it was open play or whatever. But we changed it up. The last couple of games the last couple of games before, I can't remember who we just played. Who did we just play? I've lost it in my head.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen. I'll show you our last 5 results there on the screen.
That's it. So we had the Watford and the Sheffield Wednesday game, definitely. I felt like we moved the ball up the pitch a lot quicker, which was something that we hadn't been doing. We were always trying to find Ryan Woods. Ryan Woods was going sideways. And then we ended up just in no man's land, and we didn't really have a plan. Whereas the ball was being pushed up the field a lot quicker. Against Reading, they nullified that quite well. And in the end, we were forced to pretty much do the long ball or get it down the wings quickly, cross the ball. And hence the reason, that's why I think Rowett now has changed his ways and changed the way that we play. Whereas 8, 9, 10 games ago, we just done the same thing for 90 minutes and hope to God that we got something out of it, in my opinion. No,
I agree, mate. And what Tom said there is right, because I may sound like I'm coming across negative. I'm not. I'm definitely not. Because, and again, I'm just a fan like everyone else, and we all say things, and then we do the opposite. Like we're bored of Harris hoofball. Then Rowett comes, this is brilliant. This is how we want to play. No, it's not working. We're just saying, fuck playing pretty football and not winning games. Just go direct and start winning a few games. So I'm not being critical. It may sound like I am. We're on a good run again. We are slowly turning it around. But yeah, I mean, I'm with Tom, and I'm sure we all are. You'd rather fucking play average and win games. And sometimes, we've played well and not won games. Now I don't think we're playing particularly well, but we're winning games. Joe, what do you think the two signings apart has played a factor in us getting on the right track again?
What, as in Evans and Kipton Bell? Sorry, I missed a load of it.
Sorry, them two aside. What do you think's changed?
Oh, them two aside. Yeah. I think he's just shuffled things around a bit. Before, when we was going through that stretch, he didn't seem to experiment with formation, different systems. We just always knew how we was going to line up every game, and we was going with the same tactics every time. And I think Rowett's now noticed that. I think before sometimes we're trying to overplay it, play football too much. And I think now he knows we do have to mix things up. Like we saw on Saturday, for example, there were times before where we'd be 1-0 down, chasing a game or drawing. And we're still like messing around with it in the midfield, not trying to get it forward. And you see when he brought Smith on Saturday, we did start to mix it up, go long ball. And I know, as you've said, sometimes we're moaning about hoofball, but sometimes if you want to get a winner late in the game, you have to revert to that. And we weren't doing things like that before. We bring the likes of Smith on, and we're not even playing the ball up to him before. But we have started to mix up our game a bit now, and that's what I think is a big point, big factor in changing fortunes.
Yeah, that's what Stevie Morrison is saying. Obviously, a striker himself, and knows what he's talking about. So the reason Smith doesn't always play well is because we don't play to his strengths. And again, look. There is clearly some sort. I mean, I'm not just trying to make something out of nothing. There's clearly something going on where he won't just play Smith. I know why he plays Budvar. Well, I don't. I know why he doesn't want to play Smith, because a lot of teams in the champ like to play short from the goal kicks, like Reading were doing, like to pop the ball, and he wants legs. But I think at times he has been very negative and been too worrying about the other sides. For me, okay, if you don't want to start Smith, start Bradshaw, because let's get on to when we did turn the game around. With Bradshaw having a hand in both goals, What did you think of his performance, and what's his thing? What do you think this fascination is, Ken, with the gaffer wanting to play Bavarsson?
See, I've always defended Dadbod a little bit. Not that I think that he's going to be the answer to our problems, and he's going to go and score 20 goals a season. But I think the reason why he puts Dadbod up there instead of Bavarsson is he does pretty much the same amount of running as Tom Bradshaw, in my opinion. But I think Bradshaw's a lot weaker. I just think that Dadbod's a bit more physically strong and can do the running. But Bradshaw or Dadbod, unfortunately, are not put there to score goals. That's the problem.
Correct.
So they're put up front, but they're not put up there to score the goal.
No, they're put up there to be link players, Kieran, aren't they? What this is a little bit. And by the way, I can see a lot of Zahor and Wood's comments. We are going to get onto our best teams for tomorrow, and you'll all get your opportunity to vote like we did last week as well, or the other week. Kieran, I mean, Bavarsson, I understand why he does it and doesn't play Smith. But for me, it's got to be surely. I'm Bradshaw all day long. Kenny prefers Bavarsson in that role. Ideally, we'd have new strikers and neither of them, to be honest. But I thought we played very well when he come on, Tom Bradshaw, and I didn't really emphasise that enough in my post-match. If you're not going to start Smith, okay, tomorrow, likely that Ken Zahor's out injured, according to news at Den. So tomorrow, someone's going to have to start front. Like Kenny says, we sort of play one up front and you don't really play as a striker. They do a lot of leg work, a lot of link play.
Yeah.
If you had to start Bavarsson or Bradshaw, just that argument for a minute, who would you rather go with?
Bradshaw. 100%. 7 days a week, twice on a Sunday. If it means Bodvarsson's not in the starting 11.
Joe?
Right.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. I know Kenny says about Bodvarsson, but for me, I just think he offers absolutely nothing for us, and I would rather 100% Bradshaw there. I think he will just give us that little bit more than well, not a little bit, a lot more than what Bodvarsson would.
I think he's just a pathetic striker, if I'm honest with you. Scoring against QPR and putting your ears to the crowd like this is your first goal of the season, mate.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what Rowett is.
I don't like the geezer.
So
it was probably his first goal of the decade, mate, to be honest.
You've got a personal fucking hate for him. A lot of people saying Bradshaw. Again, look, Bradshaw offers more. A lot of people are saying Bradshaw. And Smith's not getting enough game time. So again, I'm not trying to be critical of the manager, but I'm just sort of backing up what I'm saying. I think at points the fans have maybe not seen things before Rowett's seen them, but we've realised they needed changing before Rowett's realised they needed changing. Tomorrow night, Ken Zahor injured. Just for argument's sake, Ken, who would you start up front if it's a one-man striker tomorrow? We'll get onto the full teams in the game tomorrow in a bit, but if you've got a stick, Smith, Bradshaw, or Bodvarsson to start tomorrow up front as a lone striker, who are you picking?
I'd start Matt Smith, but I'd have a very, very good formation around him. Yeah, I mean you can't start Matt Smith up front and then start playing ticky-tacky football. The balls need to be chucked down the line. We need to be pressing high, and we need to be getting balls in the box. But Matt Smith for me, 100%.
I agree with exactly what Kenny's just said there. I would probably start Matt Smith, but as he said, you do need the right formation around him. I'm going to slightly contradict myself here, but I don't think Matt Smith is really a starter usually. I feel like he does better and gives us a lot more coming off the bench. But with Zahor, I'm assuming he may be out tomorrow, then I'd probably go with Smith.
Kieran?
What if I was just to put one striker?
Yeah, if you had to go one striker tomorrow, Zahor's out injured apparently. So, according to news at Den, we don't know how long for yet.
With one striker, I think it's difficult because the only reason I would choose Bradshaw is if he had someone up there kind of with him. Because I don't really think he's effective on his own. So probably if he was going one up front, I'd probably have to say Matt Smith.
Yeah. See, this is an interesting one from John. John said you can't press high with Smith, which is, I understand, John. I agree with what you're saying. I think that's why he does go with Bavarsson for legs, for these players, these teams that like to play out the back. But these teams that like to play at the back, as I said, across the board in the Championship, no one's very good at it this season. I think teams are getting above their station. And us now, especially at home tomorrow, surely we've got to go all out attack, haven't we?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
we got to go for it tomorrow. Birmingham are a bad team, and I've said for years that they've been toying with relegation for years, and we've just, I wouldn't go one up front tomorrow, and you'll see when you put the things up that like the team I've chosen, I've gone with the 2 up front. But you know, it's just typical Millwall. We've got all excited about these last couple of performances. You watch us come unstuck tomorrow and get like kicked back down to earth with
saying that. Though, I think
a bad performance.
I think Birmingham are a perfect example, right? So I've watched them like a few times this season, and Aitor Karanka's gone in there, and what he's tried to do, he's tried to fucking polish a turd. To be honest, he's got this heap of shit in there, and he's trying to play this ball out from the back, and he's trying to play this great football like he had when he was at Middlesbrough. He had all these fantastic players. When he was at Forest, you can't do it with Birmingham, and I think he's getting found out. He's had some bad results, but like you said, I think it's that kind of thing that I think you just know tomorrow. I'm like, we're all getting excited. Come on, and then tomorrow, be like, the first goal scorer for Birmingham City, number 9, Cloven.
It's all over, isn't it?
Yeah, that's. But I did think that, and that's why I said in recent weeks the biggest test for us is going to be the Sheffield Wednesday game. So I'm assuming now that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Ken, you said this about a 4-4-2, and I've said forget it, Rowett's not going to do it. But he's starting to change his ways and be more Millwall-esque, if you will. Would 4-4-2 interest you, Ken?
Yeah, I like 4-4-2, and I said having instead of having, say, Smith and Bradshaw, I would have had Smith and Zahor up front. There's a big reason. Sometimes when we look at a team, we look at the team to play out 90 minutes and try and get a result. And look, if Smith's only going to offer you 45 minutes of football, I'd much rather have him start, attack for 45 minutes, get what we need if we can, and then the likes of, I don't know, say Ryan Woods could come on and we can hold a little bit more, and etc. etc. Like, I don't know why we set up a team to last 90 minutes just to get a draw. Let's set up a team to go out and get a result.
Yeah. Spot on. Do you know what? I think you said this, Joe, the other day to me, or in one of your videos. Why do we have to have a bad action to then try and get a reaction? Like Kenny said, why? If we know these players are impact players, why don't we fucking start them and try and build a lead? Do you know what I mean? Why wait till we've gone 1-0 down before we start making the necessary changes? Start on the front.
True, it seems like even on that bad run before the last few games, it seemed like we didn't start to change things or actually start playing, get out of first gear until we're 1-0 down. And then we'd have a little spell where, we might be on the front foot and then we'd just lose it again. But I personally think, sort of going aside from that a bit, that there are certain players that I know a lot of our fans are screaming out to start. But I personally do think some of these players are better coming off the bench. Like, it might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I'd say the likes of Thompson and Smith, because when they have started a lot of games, I know Forest last year contradicts Smith a bit, but this season, when the likes of Smith and Thompson have started games, we haven't really seen the best of them or them actually get involved in the game much, and they haven't offered much. Yeah. When they've come off the bench, they look brilliant, especially with Thompson against Sheffield Wednesday the other week.
Mason Bennett's an interesting one that I want to talk about. I think he's a great player. I just question his fitness, his dedication, his desire, his willingness just to I mean, the other day in the group chat, Kenny hurt his knee, didn't he? I fucking done my ankle, and your brother Connor went, fuck me, I didn't know Connor Mahoney and in the group chat. They are like they're powder puff, aren't they? And we have got a lot of players, Kieran, at a powder puff. But in the last 3 or 4 games, Bennett's been brilliant coming off the bench. And I think now he's banging on the gaffer's door. He wants his shirt back. So, what do you think of Bennett? Do you think he can be a star, or do you think, like Joe says, he's another one of these nearly men, luxury players that are all right coming on as an impact player, but when you're in the trenches and the shit's going to hit the fan, is Bennett going to be a 90-minute player for us?
No, do you know what? I think Bennett's a top player. I've rated him from when he was at Derby. I think we've seen at times his ability, but I just think that he shows his ability in glimpses. And And that's the difference between an elite player in this league and a good player in this league. When when you're doing it on a consistent basis, and I don't feel like he does it consistently enough to give Gary Rowett a selection headache. And the other thing is when he plays games for us, sometimes I can't really work out where he's playing. If Gary Rowett's sticking him through the middle, if he's playing him out wide, if he's trying to play, and I think that's kind of unsettled him. He's not really had a position to slot into and make it his own. I think he's got loads of ability, Mason Bennett. I really do. I think, and he's got potential to be a good player at us. I just think that I think he. I know it's a cliche, but he needs that run of games. To some good performances and go from there.
You are right, but he was given the opportunity of the run of games, but he just kept fucking putting up with shitty injuries and out for a week and taking himself off the scans and stuff. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think Rowett invested in him. Bennett is our Darren Andon. He invested in him, and I don't think he really got repaid the faith. And I think that's why now, like I said, I'm maybe contradicting myself. Fucking get him out of the side and show him that he ain't just going to play because he's your mate from Derby. And now he has got a rock up his ass. Ken, what do you think of Bennett? Do you think he should be starting now? And if so, what position?
I'll tell you what I do love about Bennett is that he's 25, 26. He looks like he's on 40 pence in a day and
I think he had a couple of paper round for a news agency in Chernobyl as a kid, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a tough life.
I think the last time we was on this show, I said that I've lost my trust in Bennett. And to be honest, I'm still, he's 24.
And like Mad Mike said, we just seem to have sick notes fucking galore. We'll get on to that in a minute. Go on.
Yeah. But this is the problem when you start buying these luxury players or getting these luxury players, they tend to be a bit more, we need to wrap them up in cotton wool a little bit more. And I don't think that Mason Bennett has a place in our team, to be honest, especially when, say, Conor Mahoney comes home. I don't see him as a 10, and he's definitely not a striker for our club either. So where does he fit in our squad?
It's right saying he's not a striker, but at the same time, when he was at Derby, I was going to say when he played for Derby, and it's just for a Derby fan, I know, when they played him up front, that's when he was at his best. Not once since he's been at our club, he's been playing up front, so we've never known that. Really?
So, again, I'm hearing rumours that when he was at Derby, he was unbelievable. And I think this is what I think a lot of people are guilty of. He's not at Derby anymore. He's not the player he was. He's had his problems. That's why he's at near wall now. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion.
A lot better players around him as well.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think of Bennett? Do you reckon he's in line for a start now after his recent... Because I know he come on, he scored the winner, but I think aside from that, I said in my last few videos, he's come on and looks like he really had that desire. But then, like Kieran says, you play him for 5-10 games, that desire could soon fucking go out the window, and he could clip his toenail walking to get a bottle of water out the fridge, and that could be good night of Vienna for a couple of weeks again.
Yeah, see, I actually really like Bennett, and as already mentioned, I just honestly think he needs a bit more consistency, and I think with him, it all depends on what sort of formation we're playing. If we were to play a 4-4-2, for example, I'd have him there on the left wing. I can't remember, was it Bristol City away? Where he scored that goal? He cut in from the left and he took it really well. And I really think he is one of the few players in our side that does actually show some intent. Maybe not always the best end product, but he'll pick up the ball and he ain't afraid to run at players. And that's the sort of thing we've lacked for a while.
Like that Badger said, though, I think he's made a good point in the comments. Mason's not 2 games a week player.
Listen, and he's spot on. I personally, I'll get off what Joe just said. I don't like Bennett on the left. I prefer him through the middle, but Badger's spot on. Mason's not a 2-game-a-week player. And I said a long time ago, I've written it down here, I've written down Mahoney, Jed, Bennett. And I said, if we could get them 3 in behind the 1, that could be the key to success. I said that a long time ago. I would now go back on what I said and say I was wrong, because you need all them fit, you need all them firing, you need all them free up for the calls, and you're not going to get all those factors coming in together on the same day. It's not going to work often enough for us to get results. Bennett, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he's turned the corner, but powder puff. It pains me to say because I love Conor Mahoney. Not fit, never fit. It's It's very frustrating. I think Rowett's sussed that now, and that's why he's going after the George Evans of this world, the Keithton Bells of this world. However, on an opposite argument to that, people say, stop saying it's the Millwall way. We need to aim higher. But Ken, can we aim higher with the budget we've got? People keep saying we've got no budget. We've got no budget. So do we have to accept as a club that we're gonna just have kick, bollock and bite battlers, or do you think we can go to that next level under Rowett and play the way he wants to play with the budget we've got?
Sorry, Dan, going back to what you said, the question is would you rather have Malone or Mahoney on the left right now? When you look at it like that, in my opinion, Malone has shown a lot more than what Mahoney has since he's been here, and he's a lot more attacking, he's a lot more direct. And there's no way in this world Mahoney would have scored any of them goals or got in any of them positions that Malone has to score. So I don't think we're necessarily missing Mahoney. I've said all along, I feel like we have the players that could push towards a playoff place this season. Already, that was before we had Keith and Beld or George Evans in the squad. I felt like we had enough. And if we play the way that we are meant to play, instead of these stupid formations and this stupid tick-attack of football, I mean, look at Sheffield United. You know, Sheffield United done exactly the same a couple of seasons ago. Like, they weren't pretty.
I'm laughing because I'm nodding and agreeing with you. When for 2 years I went, I'm sick to fucking death of playing football under Harris. But now you're agreeing with it. So we are fickle as football fans, mate. But yeah, sorry, go on, carry on.
I can't remember. Yeah, like I say, Sheffield Wednesday, they were never pretty. They were kick, bollock and bite. And all right, maybe they're not doing as well this season, but they managed to sustain themselves in the Premiership. So, you know, if we want to get into the playoffs this season, the best way to get into the playoffs this season, with it being so bad, but also with it being so open, we need to just be more direct and go for it. We've got nothing to lose this season.
Exactly what you said there, and I've written this to Kieran, look, because he was talking at the time, and what you just said, Kenny. Kieran, does Rowett set up, especially at home, and show other teams too much respect? Is he too much of a? I know you like him. Is he too much of a negative manager with his approach? I know you've got to be defensive at times, but we don't ever seem to go, do you know what? Fuck it. We're going to go and go for it today. And I think you get a lot more respect from the fans if we did lose games in that fashion. Do you think he's too negative with his approach, full stop here? Or do you think he's a tactical genius?
No, I think he's negative to a certain degree. I think me and Kenny have always said the same point in the group, that he sets up, or I don't know if it's Danny says it, he sets up a game not to lose, rather than winning the game. And but saying that, I do think there's a certain aspect, like, I mean, you can't help but realise that, you know, when we played Norwich the other week, I think we completely showed about the game, and I think there's certain times like that. I think he got it spot on tonight. You know, because like I said, I know, listen, football's being awful, but we don't lose a lot of games. No. And you got to think to yourself, you know, at the end of the day, we could be getting battered like 3 or 4-0, but that ain't happening. I know the football's not bad, but you go to these teams like Norwich and stuff, and you take a point. And I think, you know, to do that, to go to a side like Norwich, both home and away, and both kind of just completely strip their strengths out of the game, there's got to be some sort of tactical, you know, genius to that, surely.
There's the third cog in the O'Mara wheel, obviously. The offspring, your brother Connor's in saying, I would rather go for it and lose. Maybe Rowett's set up recently is to go all guns blazing in the second half. He has gone for it, you know, but you know what? He's gone for it, and I'm going to defend him here. He's gone for it, and even he's been slagged off. It's going to happen. It's part of football. It's, you know, as a fan channel, some people love us, some people hate us. It's just, if you put yourself out there, you're under fire. And Rowett has done that lately. He's gone more direct. He's gone, fuck it, let's go for it. Stick loads of subs on, and people have criticised him. Do you think, you know, as part of him learning the more Millwall way, Joe, do you think he's gone a little bit more, do you know what, fuck it, let's just go for it now and see what happens?
Yeah, but I'd argue that that's what we done last season when he first came in. I don't know what all of a sudden sort of shifted this season, where he has sort of gone more defensive and trying to like play out games maybe for a draw. But on the other side of the argument, you could say, I don't know, at times I'd say it was negative, but you could say the way he sets up, if you're drawing a game or it's 0-0 going late into the game, you've still always got that chance to nick it as long as you don't concede. So you could say it from that way. And I was mentioning a bit off from what we said, but I mentioned earlier to one of the boys, like, you look this season, the past few months, how bad we have actually been. We have been dire at times, some of the worst play I've seen in years, yet we've still managed to get points out of these games. So when you try and look at it that way, it's not all. I know it was doom and gloom at the time. I'm just trying to be a bit more positive now. We've got a couple of wins under our belt, but yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't know where this sort of mindset all of a sudden come from Rowett this season to sort of go all defensive. Honestly, don't know.
Yeah, he did seem to sort of change his ethos, didn't he? And his direction. I don't know whether
he goes into a side and does that with like a lot of teams though. He done it, he goes into a team when he done it with Birmingham. He done really well when he went in. He done well throughout, but he done it with Derby. And he goes in. It's all right at first, but then in the end, it does become a bit frustrating to watch. It does become a bit defensive.
Ken, you're like me in a way, but we're very much similar in this sense. Exactly what my mate Doublé says. What a winger he was in his day, by the way. We used to play together in the Kent League. The Mill way just keeps the buzz alive, doesn't it? And that's all we want. Like, we don't mind falling on our sword and losing 4-0 as long as we just fucking have a go. And I think it was the performances. Like now, we're winning games and it's brilliant, but it's not been pretty. But that's all we really want as fans, isn't it? Ultimately.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like my granddad's granddad would have said, or whatever. On us. You work all week, you get to Saturday, you go down the pub, you meet your mates, and you watch 90 minutes of football. 11 people trying their hardest, wearing the shirt and doing it the proper Millwall way. That's been going on for years and years and years. So now, when you watch your football team, especially when you can't watch them at the grounds, you probably expect a little bit more of the Millwall way, because you're not there, but. I've completely forgotten the question that you asked me, but on the basis of
point out Kenny sits on his knees. He's heavily invested in Coldemort, and he feeling all right.
yeah. I just went into Millwall way and started going on, and then I forgot what you'd asked me.
I'll take us off that subject. I'll just thank Darren Cully for your donation. Very kind, mate. Much appreciated. Super chats are open if people do want to donate. Not a problem if you don't, but please subscribe because we're nearly at 15,000 subscribers. I'm going to move it on now. Graham's trying to fire into Helen all day long. Good luck with that one, mate.
I'll tell you what, Kenny, you're getting some slates about your Barnet, ain't you?
Oh, mate.
So let's move it on, right? Okay, to I don't like to keep covering old points, but the fans in the chat are asking these questions and I'm seeing it again and again and again and again. Ken Zahor and Ryan Woods. So let's go around the group. Let's start with Zahor. Where do we stand with Ken Zahor as a Millwall player? Joseph, let's start with you.
See, this is a really tricky one for me. I feel like...
Sorry, just before you do that, Joe, I don't want to shit on in a minute. The prediction, you boys all picked your team today for tomorrow's game, which I'll show in a minute. Not one of you picked Zahor to start. So, sorry, take it away, Joe.
Do you know what? I would have actually put him in my lineup, but the way he went off on Saturday, I just assumed that he didn't look like he was going to be fit for tomorrow. Otherwise, I would have put him in instead of Smith and had Smith coming off the bench. I think he's one of those players, if given a chance, he will put the ball in the net. He's one of them that people can mistake him for looking very lazy. Like you sort of old Dimitar Berbatovs, or I think you've compared him to Stan Collymore before. Bit past my time. But I think I like him. But some people might say he's lazy. And if he was fit, I'd still start with him tomorrow.
Sorry, I mean Alfredo. Kieran?
Zahor, I think the quality's there. And the reason I didn't choose him in my... I'm sorry, I'm laughing because...
Just laughing at Connor's comments.
But, God, that's thrown me off guard, that has. No, Ken Zahor, I think he's got, and the reason I didn't choose him in my lineup is because I was reading news at Den. I didn't know if he was going to be, because the way people were talking about him, he might be injured. I don't know. But with Ken Zahor, I think the quality's there. We've seen that a few times, and especially I remember when we won away at Preston on that Tuesday night. It was like, he's what we've been missing. He's what we've been like, saying. I think the quality's there, but recently, he just looks a bit disinterested, doesn't he? And I think at this stage of the season, for what we need someone, who wants to drive in the box. We need someone with a bit of energy, with a bit of passion, with a bit of saying. Ken Zahor, he's got the quality in times, but for me, it's like Joe says, a difficult one. But I'd have to say not for me. So sometimes he just looks disinterested.
It's a difficult one, Ken. What are you thinking about Ken Zahor? So, boys, sorry, just before we get on to Kenny, Kieran and Joe, you didn't pick him in your side because you assumed he was going to be injured after coming off Saturday.
Yeah, as I say, if he weren't injured, I'd have him in there.
Right.
No, I still wouldn't.
I agree with what both you boys have said, but go on, Ken. You go now.
Yeah. Okay. All I've seen from Ken Zahor is 3 swipes, missed shots, an open header at the back post, and a goal against a National League South team, and a penalty.
I know you saw. Do you know what? It's one of them, right? He come in, and maybe it's because we want it. We are guilty. It's and all football fans are. You need something desperately, and then you think, yeah, we're gonna latch onto this. We're gonna latch onto it. So Joe's agreeing with you. I think he's definitely got the quality. I will sympathise with him in the way that he come to us on the back of being at West Brom. I haven't played any game time. Played one game for us, got injured, come back, and he's not really got back into the fold. And I said he needed games to get fit, but he kept fucking falling over on Saturday. He was starting to get on my tits.
I'll tell you what he is good at. And the reason why we think he's amazing is because none of our forwards are any good at getting into positions. Now, Zahor is very, very good to getting himself into an opportunity to score.
100%.
And that's why we think he's the answer. Troy Parrott couldn't do it, but Varson doesn't do it. Bradshaw doesn't do it. Smith occasionally does it. Jed never does it. So Zahor is always usually in the right place. It's just his conviction, maybe, so to speak, is not as good as what we expected.
It's weird you say that, Ken. Me and Joe we were saying the exact same thing to the old man like a couple of nights ago. We were saying if you watch his videos for Cardiff and stuff when he's scoring goals, you look, he gets in the box and his positioning seems to be spot on. Against Preston it was as well.
Another thing.
Go on, Joe.
Cardiff, I know he's obviously at us now, but I mentioned it earlier. Like, I don't think we've seen the best of him at previous clubs. He used to sometimes come deep, pick up the ball, and run directly at him. But how many times have we seen him do that? We've not really seen him come deep and pick up the ball himself. He's just, maybe it's the way we're set up to play. I don't know. You spoke over me, which is that's what I want. But you've literally said exactly what I was going to say. Come deep. I think fitness is definitely a factor. However, if I'm honest, I think he's got the ability. I love what Kenny said about he definitely gets in a position, but his conviction isn't there. And that can be a running theme with strikers. You've got to get one. Once you get one, you're off and running. But I've got to honestly question, as good as I think he is and the quality he's got and the presence he brings to that centre-forward role, it's not the chances he's missing. For me, it's his actual desire to want to play for Millwall. I think he probably thinks, this is, I'm here to get fit and fuck all else. You know what I mean? If the fans were there, he wouldn't get away with that, would he?
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that. Steve Lee says it could be rustiness, not playing much. Let us know your comments, your thoughts on Zahor in the comments. While us boys move on to a matter that could go on forever. We have discussed it before separately, not as a group. He's Ryan Woods. Now I'm going to have to start with this. Just let me say my piece, and I'll shut up. I said it in my post match. He offers nothing to Millwall Football Club. I understand his role that Rowett wants to play, but Rowett has now accepted that we can't play that way. He's supposed to draw players out with his brilliant distribution and break lines as then players come out and create space further up the pitch. Now, whether it's his passing range or the players he's playing with, he's now become null and void because we're not even playing that way anymore. But Gary Rowett always finds a way to get him in the side. Now, as I said, Kieftenbeld's played 3 games, been booked twice, got injured, and made 2 goal line clearances. Ryan Woods has never done any of those things, in my opinion, and he's not scored or assisted 1 goal. Now, what is your opinions on Ryan Woods? I think this is the missing link now to us making us a better side, because I don't know whether fucking he's got nudes of Rowett or what, I don't know what's going on. What does he offer us? And Kieran, you can't use the argument he was brilliant for Brentford 4 years ago, because like, I'm not just you, anyone that says that, like Ryan Tunnicliffe played for Man United. I don't give a fuck what they've done previously. In the here and now, what does Ryan Woods offer for us? Kia?
Right. To be fair, Dan, I think what you've just said, that's like the one time I've ever agreed with you when you've spoke about Ryan Woods, because I don't agree with the slander. You know, when people come out and say Ryan Woods is shit and Ryan Woods is this and Ryan Woods is that. I think the way you've just put it there is spot on. And recently, that's how I've been feeling. I've gone from, you know me in the group chats. I've been nothing but praise for him. I love the thing is, individually, I love him as a player. I think he's fantastic. I think he's like I said, in my opinion, people might call me wild. I think you put him in a top 6 team in this division, he cleans up. And if you put him in a side that plays football the way that he does, he'd be absolutely brilliant. You saw that when, like I said, I hate to say it, but when he was at Brentford. But like you just said there, Dan, it's like now it's got to the point, is as much as I love him as a player, it's sad to see really, because he's just in that, he's like so isolated in this, like he doesn't fit anywhere in this system and the way we're playing. And and like I said, I think
he could break lines. You're right, he could break lines in a better team, but not just him personally. Other teams know, well, Millwall ain't going to break lines and not fucking 30 parts. So we'll let Woods have it in them areas because he's not going to hurt us from there.
Or sometimes even when he plays, people are like
further up, but
or sometimes even when he plays, sometimes I think a perfect example is QPR away last season. As soon as he gets on the ball, you see someone clatter into him. And he just goes to ground. I just don't think, as much as I'm a massive fan of him, and I will be even if he goes to another team. I just think he's. I'm sorry. I've just always been a fan of Woodacliff.
Ryan Woods.
I've always been a fan of him, but like I said, I just think I don't think I've seen a place for him in our team anymore.
Dan, you can say to me, Dan, you're talking bollocks. Then that's fine, but I just don't see what. And by the way, the introduction of Kieftenbeld has just showed Woods up even more for what he is, an absolute charlatan. Joe?
Oh, sorry. Do you know what? I am slowly starting to turn against him. Positives, he can pick out a good pass. Other than that, I'm now trying to start to think of any more positives. When we first signed him
4 years ago.
When we first signed him, I thought he was going to be this player that's just as good off the ball as he is on the ball and get stuck in. And I just haven't seen that from him. I don't see him get stuck into tackles. There seems to be no desire there to win the ball off the opposition. And as each game goes on, I'm starting to dislike him more. And I think his problem is he's too casual on the ball. And there has been numerous occasions late on in games where we're leading or we're drawing, where he's got the ball on the edge of our area, and he really panics me when he's on the ball, because he will not just clear it. He'll do something silly or make a silly pass around the back that really could end up costing us or has cost us before. And I just get really worried when he's on the ball late in the game now. So I'm sort of slowly...
Comments.
Yeah, it's like there's loads of comments. I mean, what Joe's saying, Ken, as well. Twice on Saturdays, nearly. I don't want to say it about him. I think people think I have started to now make a little bit of a beeline for him, like I did with Jordan Archer, because I cannot believe, if I'm honest, I've had a couple of glasses of red. Yes, everyone's boozing tonight. Fair play, boys. I can't believe what everyone else cannot see. This is why I got so frustrated with Jordan Archer. I don't go back to Archer. That's a non-argument. I cannot believe how ineffective he is, and how, like Joe said lately, on Saturday he gives the ball away casual, gets Hutchinson booked, nearly cost us. Bolkowski makes a save. Then just after we equalise, he tries to turn blind in his own box. He went for a brilliant block from Jake Cooper and a bit of luck it coming off the bar.
Yeah,
But
listen,
the gaffer keeps having excuses to play him, doesn't he? And at the minute as well, injuries are piling up in that area. If Ryan Leonard was fit and Keith Bell was fit, Ken, do you think he'd still be playing Woods?
well, yeah, Rowett would definitely. But look, Woods. I've got a counter argument against Kieran in a minute, but Woods is a fucking liability. I don't see what he offers to the team. It's exactly that. Can't head, can't tackle, don't go forward at all. He doesn't offer nothing other than tippy-toey around the football pitch. The second thing is that Stoke, I mean, I don't know how they got on. He come from Stoke, didn't he? Yeah. I don't know how they got on today, but they are near on a top 6 team right now in the league, I'm presuming, if I'm right. Kieran, you might be able to tell me that.
Yeah, no, they're ninth at the minute.
Oh, okay. And I know they played today, and if they'd won that, I think they might have been right up involved in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he can't get in the Stoke side. He can't get in the Stoke side. Would he get in any of the top 6 teams in our division? I don't think he would. I don't think he would.
See, I think you're right. I think he's, again, this is the sort of player that, going back to the original, how we started the show, Rowett signed players off reputation. He's bought Woods before and he keeps buying the same players. But Woods cost Brentford, from Brentford, he was brilliant 4 years ago, and he cost Stoke 6 million. Like you said, Ken, he couldn't get in Stoke teams last year. They just finished above the relegation zone. He's a player living off a rep, like Tunnicliffe did. And you've got to look, at the end of the game, people were saying, what someone just said there about him. Can't do this, can't do that, can't do that. Now, what the counter argument to that is, Matt Smith, I honestly think I'll give him a run in an 100-metre race. He runs like his shitty self, can't do anything, right? He's not a footballer, but he affects football matches, doesn't he? Ryan Woods, the complete polar opposite to that, because Ryan Woods looks fantastic on the ball. His pass completion ratio must be brilliant. But when he comes off that pitch, what do you boys think that Gary Rowett goes, I'm playing him every week? If you said to Gary Rowett, why do you play him every week? What points do you think Rowett would say, I'm playing him because of X, Y, and Z? What do you think Rowett would say to you if you ask him the question? Joe?
Because he's costing us a fortune.
Exactly that.
He's probably waiting for him to pick out that one killer pass over the top of the defence every game that just doesn't seem to happen.
Ken, I think you're spot on. What are you saying?
I think there's two things. I think, first of all, I've got to say, the only reason why I think he ended up going from Stoke is because Michael O'Neill don't play that type of football for Ryan Woods to fit in. So that's why I think he got high energetic midfielders. But anyway, I think it's one or two things. I think the first thing in my head is that I think he almost thinks of himself, right, I'm going to start Ryan Woods because he's that good at finding that delivery pass. He's relying on that one bit of magic that somehow when he gets on the ball, he's going to find that thing and, the luck will change. The other thing is that I remember speaking to a boy who plays football at a good level in the Championship, and he went on loan to a side from a Premiership team at the time, and in his clause in that contract, he had to play a certain amount of games.
Very true.
It could even be that maybe because when a player's on X amount of money, they have to start a certain amount of games. It's the rule. It's a rule, some whatever.
I will say this in fear. Obviously, as we've had a chat before, I do obviously find a lot more out than most people would. I did hear that one of the stipulations, again, I don't know it's fact, but it's one of the stipulations of Rowett accepting the job. They said, you ain't got a lot of budget, blah, blah, blah. And he said, okay, one stipulation, I'll take the job. I've got to have this geezer from Stoke, Ryan Woods. Wall79 says, Woods needs good players around him. We haven't got intelligent, technically sound players for him to play with. I agree, but we're not going to get those players on our budget. So, Ryan Woods, boys, yes or no, would you send him back at the end of the season? Ken?
Yeah.
I'd send him back now.
Well, I would, but he's not going to.
And the end of the season, we're not going to buy him.
But I think he's still got to run on his contract. I thought his contract was up, but apparently his contract isn't up. So this will be a big fucking test of Rowett's credentials and his knowledge and what his true feelings are about Woods. Because like Kenny says, I think he's got him in now and thought, fuck, he's on a serious whack. I've got to play him. And he's bit the bullet with Bennett and dropped him, but he just will not drop Woods. And for me, even with injuries tomorrow, Leonard's out, Keith Bell's out, Sean Williams, I'm hearing, has fractured his toe. He's got to have a late fitness test. I don't think that's any secret. For me, he's got to try something else. He's got to bring Billy Mitchell in, or even Evans into the midfield and bring Pearson to the back. He's risking it. But listen, we're veering off. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move on now to tomorrow's game because we've sort of danced around it a bit. But we're going to start now talking about tomorrow's game. Now, earlier on, I asked all of you to send your team in to me. By the way, just look at the league table quickly here. Well, it's quite little. I can't read it, but I don't think we're far off the fucking playoff. Mate, this is madness. Look at that league. Yeah, Ken, that's what I need to do, but I didn't want to do it because I got bins on as well. So, listen, wide open tomorrow. We face Birmingham. They're 23rd in the table. They've got Aitor Karanka in charge now, who has come in and it's not going well. They've got problems with their owners. They obviously were pissed off. I see when they sold Keith Bell to us, their fans are saying, get out of our club. But like you said, Joe, I think, and you changed my mind on this because I remember we did remember that away days. We used to go to away days. What a day that was. Birmingham away. And afterwards, you did a video and you said, I said Birmingham big club. And you said, no, Dan, they're not a big club anymore. People have got to get that out of their head. And you were spot on.
Yeah, 100%. They've been, I've said it time and time again, their time in the Championship's going to be up soon. They've been down there toying with it for years. I think they might have had one off good season in between, but other than that, Birmingham, not for me.
So they're definitely there for the taking. They currently sit 23rd in the table. They haven't won any of their last 5 league games. Last time out, they lost 1-0.
That's got Birmingham win written all over it.
I'm the first goal scorer for Birmingham.
In the interest of this not happening, right, we're going to go with our teams tomorrow. I asked you earlier, you sent them in. We're going to start with you, kid. We're going to look at your team for tomorrow. The team that we're going to all talk about the team we'd go with, then the team we think Rowett will pick, and then we'll throw it over to the audience. And if you want to go through and we'll pick your team, we'll have a look. Let's start with Kieran's.
I'm going toilet break just quickly.
Go on, mate. No worries. Bolkowski, take your microphone off if you're going for a poo. Bolkowski in goal. 3 centre-backs, Hutchinson, Evans and Cooper. Sorry, Kieran, you talk me through it because I don't think it is 3 centre-backs, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it is really. It's just, but listen, at the end of the day, do you know what? Truth be told, I know we get to choose this a lineup ourselves, but it's more of a, there's no, in my opinion, I don't think there's a point me putting a 4-4-2 out there when I know he's not going to play a 4-4-2. So this is my team, my starting 11. Would I choose that formation? Maybe not.
On the formation you think Rowett will play. Yeah, I do agree with that. That's what I always do.
So like I said, I think I really, really like Danny McNamara. I think he's really good. But I think if you've seen in the last kind of couple of games, Romeo's offered a touch more, and that's been the killer instinct. I'm persisting with Woods, because like I said, we don't know how ready Billy Mitchell is to start yet, if he's like completely fit or not. And Woods has had games, consistent games. Wallace, ever since he's had that role to be a bit free, play a bit more freely, he's looked like the Jeb Wallace of old. And like I said, Bennett's pushed for a start, and I think so has Bradshaw, and I think they both deserve start tomorrow, and it'll be interesting to see them kind of bounce off each other.
Yeah, mate, it's a very interesting one. I think you've got a lot of energy up top. I think you've got a lot of pace up top. Little short, low set players that will bomb around and get involved. So just to confirm, because I wasn't sure whether you've gone 4 at the back with a diamond, but you've gone 3 at the back with Hutchinson, Cooper, and Evans. You've got Scott Malone left wing back, Marlon right wing back. You prefer over Danny Mack. You give your reasons. Then Thompson and Woods as that 2, and then the 3 up top is Bennett, Bradshaw, and Wallace. If you had to go one of them as a focal point, as a centre forward, who would that be out of those 3? I quite like that, mate, if I'm honest.
Probably Tom Bradshaw, because, fair enough, people say Bradshaw has had his chance, but where I think he's had that time out of the team, I think, like you said, that's probably what Bennett has. He has that time out where he probably thinks, right, fuck this, I want to be in the starting 11. And I think, we saw last season when Bradshaw had that run when he was scoring goals upon goals. And he's got the ability. He knows where the back of the net is. And like I said, with Bradshaw, I've always stuck with the fact that he's the two things. He's better in a two. He's not a player who plays up front on his own. And another thing is, if you give him the service, it's easy to say that, I know, but there's strikers out there that you can make chances for him and they wouldn't put it in the back of the net. But I know that Bradshaw would.
I'm with you. I think Bradshaw gets a lot of unfair criticism. I'm just looking as you're doing. I'm not ignoring you. What I'm doing is I'm actually looking on Bradshaw's Wikipedia. And he's since 2019, according to Wikipedia, it might be absolutely spot on. 62 games for Millwall, 11 goals. That's not the worst by any stretch. And I thought he was brilliant Saturday when he come on. So Kieran,
I think a lot of them might be subs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying
as well.
I think he offers so much more than dad bod, and I think he's been given some unfair criticism by our fans. Bradshaw, he's not ever going to be a Millwall legend, but in the interest of what we got in a minute, especially as we're just giving him a new contract, I don't think it's a bad chat. I quite like that, Kieran, honestly. People, I mean, for argument's sake, I'm not saying it's my opinion. This is my opinion. I love Thompson, but I worry about his distribution in that deeper role. Yeah, although he brings energy. Marlon Romeo, I'm starting to think I just don't see it with Romeo. Because other people say he plays well, and I don't, and maybe I just don't see it. And the only other slight issue I might have there is with the front three. Well, maybe we don't. Maybe we don't need a central focal point. But that's Kieran's team. Love it. Bobby McKenzie says, "Yeah, look." Connor said, "Oh, it's your brother though." He's sent you that.
He sunned me off. And by the way, if we was doing a bench as well, I know we have 8, 9 subs now. Bod Varson wouldn't be on the bench either.
No. By the way, today the under-23s lost. Just get on that just quickly, not before diverting too much. Under-23s lost today away at Cardiff 3-0, 2-0 down at half-time. George Alexander sent off in the first half, but we had a lot of under-18s playing. Lee Tomlin played for Cardiff.
Did you go, Dan?
No, it's away, but I watched it.
It was away, okay.
It pisses me off as well with the club without getting in trouble. It was live on the Cardiff website for free. Why didn't the club just say that? So I watched the second half. We was already 2-0 down at 10 men. It was pissing down in South Wales. But Junior Tienza, Hayden Muller, and Tyler Berry didn't travel. I know for a fact they've been training with the first team this week. So it'd be nice to see some of them involved. Right, Josefio, we're going to go into your team. You're going to talk us through it. Formation, exactly what it is. Why are the players you up? Why I put it on the screen. And I'm going to have a toilet break. Stage is yours, Joseph.
Right. I've gone for sort of back four. It could be a 5, whichever way you want to look at it. Evans sort of sitting just in front of Cooper and Hutch and could drop back there when we haven't got the ball. Malone, I think, has been brilliant. So I've kept him in at left back. And Romeo, don't get me wrong, I do like McNamara. I think he's been really good. But for whatever reason, Romeo's come back in the team last couple of games. And I've actually liked the way he's played the last couple of games. I think he's been he's improved a bit. So I'd stick with him there. And then the problem we got at the minute is we are very limited in the midfield with Leonard and Kieftenbeld out injured. And I don't think we'd have Mitchell thrown straight into start, just coming back after that long-term injury. So I think it's going to have to be Woods and Thompson there. Right. And then I would have liked to... I do like Bradshaw, but I quite liked when Wallace has played up top in a couple of the games. So I've gone for that. Smith and Wallace as a front two and try Bennett just behind them. And I think that would just give us that extra bit of a threat up top there. So, yeah.
More reflection on that is, again, I like it. It's something different. Malone, I love going forward. But we'll see Kenny's team in a minute. But I don't think he's a great defender, Malone. But at the minute, if we play a flat back four, obviously it looks like Shane Ferguson's on his way out the club. So Malone's our only option. He's brilliant going forward. Very good. And for that reason, I've said previously to when he started hitting this purple patch, I'll play him a lot further up the pitch. Smith, even if it's a horse fit, I'll be tempted to start Smith now. Bennett in a 10 I like, and Evans is front that back four will be interesting to see as well.
More of a sort of diamond.
More of a diamond, yeah. Someone said not seen a diamond for a long time. But there you go. I'm enjoying that one as well. John McKenna says too many players in our half of the pitch, but predominantly, John, it's only a team sheet, but that is how we play. Do you know what I mean? You've gone for a flat back four, Joe, yeah? I think the flat back four is the way forward at home.
Not flat, more. It could be. I don't even know.
You're saying goal out here, aren't you? Really? Some people think that's a defensive formation, but looking at that, it isn't. You're saying this fucking up here, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. I think Romeo and Malone more sort of in wing backs, and then I know I've put Evans just in front of them two, but I don't know if I said this while you'd gone, but he can also fall back in as sort of a free with them when we're on the defence. So
like it's a very flexible. Yeah. It's a very flexible formation.
Yeah.
You still got Woods in, Kieran. You still
we got no choice really at the minute.
No, you got Billy Mitchell there, who is fit and ready to go, but I understand people haven't seen a lot of him. So there you go. There's Joe's team. There's Kieran's team. In a minute, I'm going to ask you, the audience, to have a little vote of who you think's best. I like this. I think me and you just got a bromance, Ken. I really like Ken's team. Let's have a look at Ken's team. They're all good. They're all good. They're all different. But Ken's team, you know what I love about your team, Ken?
Sure.
Ryan Woods isn't in it, for one. Scott Malone's very, very advanced, which I like. I don't know what Danny Mack's doing, but he's venturing a little bit further forward than a back three. But I really like your team. So please talk us through it, Ken, when I put it back on the screen. If I can find the graphic. Sorry, mate. There.
Yeah, okay. So for me, it's all about transition. The reason why Danny Mack's a little bit further up is actually because Ferguson's meant to be further up, but I messed about with it, touched it with my thumb. Cooper and Hutch is always going to be our best back two, although I do find Hutch a little bit shaky. Ferguson, I think you can always rely on, and there's another reason why I've put him in, as well as Danny Mack. I would only play Jed Wallace if Jed is playing on the right. And I think that Evans...
You're not having Central, no?
Pardon?
You're not having Jed Central?
Never in a million years. Never in a million years. I've always said this. So we get the best out of Jed when he's running down the line. I know that he can do a lot of sprinting around the pitch, but so could Gregory at championship level, and so does Bradshaw. It doesn't really provide anything for the team, though, in my opinion. And Jed can't finish his dinner, so I'd rather have him on the right, providing service. Thompson and Mitchell in the middle absolutely excites me. Just a comment from Mike. He said Mitchell and Tomo two similar question mark. He's asking you the question. You think? Yeah, I think they are. I think
they are, and in the right way.
Yeah, definitely. I think
that as well. Billy Mitchell, I think it's no secret I know him personally, but he is so. I mean, they're both so badly want to play for Millwall. They're completely different. So Billy Mitchell is so much technically better than Ben Thompson. It's a joke, but that's not taking anything away from Thompson. But go on, Ken, you carry on with the desire they both got to play for the club. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think with them two in the centre mid and Evans providing the Ryan Woods role, so to speak, I think that Evans is a very good professional. Not interested in all this tippy-tappy football. He'll do what he's got to do. You'd have Keith and Bell there, ideally. Malone further up on the left, attacking and also to provide service. Jed on the right, attacking and also to provide service. So when we're attacking, the best thing about this is when we're attacking, Evans can stay behind. You've got Billy Mitchell, Ben Thompson shooting into the box. If Jed's on the right to cross the ball, Malone's coming in as well. We're filling the box with attacking players, but also when we defend, Evans can drop. Mitchell and Thompson can make themselves a nuisance. I'm in love with this formation and this team here. Honestly, I am.
I really like it. I really like it. Can I just point out as well, you said about Hutchinson is shaky at times. Someone else said that. I think Hutchinson is more shaky when he plays in a back three because he has to go right side, which means he has to venture up the pitch and his distribution isn't great. So I think in a flat back four, that is good. That I like that. I don't think he'll play that. If I had to pick holes in it like I did the other two, I don't think he'll play that because I don't think he'll. Well, I can 99% guarantee you put the channel on it, he won't drop Woods.
Yeah.
I also don't think he'll play Ferguson. Of course, Murray Wallace is out injured at the minute. I don't know. Again, and maybe it's me because Joe and Kieran, a lot of other people in the comments would rather see Romeo. Maybe I just don't see it with Romeo. Maybe, listen, Romeo isn't as good as he was, but maybe he's still better than Danny Mac. I don't personally agree, but I like that team. There's 3 good teams.
Yeah, I don't think he's better than. I like Danny McNamara. I do think that he's actually better than. I do actually think he is better than Romeo on the technical point of view. But I just think where it's only because, like I said, where we've won 2 games and Romeo came on and we ended up winning, and you can't change what's I think
if you ask
to defend Romeo as well, to defend Romeo, Danny Mac's come in and he's there. He hasn't had that yet, has he? Where Romeo been there, done it. And I'll always defend Romeo when I say he's best when he's got someone after his shirt, like he's had Sean Cummins after his shirt, like he's had Connor McLaughlin after his shirt, like he's had Jason after his shirt. That's 100%. When he rises to the occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you asked me 2 games ago who I'd have there, I would have picked McNamara all day long. But I just think, I know you're saying you don't see it, but I personally think Romeo's had a good couple games since he's been back.
Yeah, listen,
might just be me.
No, it's not you. It's maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't hate Romeo at all. I love Romeo. He's been, for as long as I've been a Mill fan, and pretty much for the entirety of this channel, he's been a fucking brilliant right back for the club. But he isn't as good as he was.
No.
Maybe that's form. I don't know. Like your brother,
McNamara will be a big part of our future going forward.
Listen, and it's a lovely debate that we're sitting here having, because before Romeo was shocking, completely out of form. We had no alternatives. Now we got this lovely chat. We got both of them sitting there. Your brother rightly says no point changing the right back with a winning at the minute. So on that note, Mac is better than Romeo any day and should never have been dropped. This is another point. What did he do to get dropped? Did he drop Romeo just to prove a point, to then get him back in to rile him up a bit? And Ronnie Grimway says Danny's going to be brilliant in time. I don't think they're that dissimilar in age. I don't know. Stato Steve Lees might be able to help me.
Yeah, McNamara's been out with us fucking ages.
Yeah, I think what's Romeo? Romeo 24? Something like that? 20? Or I've got
I'll find out.
To be fair, with McNamara, like I don't actually know why he got dropped in the first place. But like when I see Romeo come back in a couple of games ago, I thought, hold on, what's gone on here? I don't know whether wasn't there that rumor that day that he picked up a knock? There was like 3 players or something. Jed's. Was he one of them that said they picked up slight knocks or something?
That was so weird. No, it was.
None of them got knocks, did they?
I
don't think any of them got knocks.
Richard Cowley, who is very reliable. He's London News Online. He's South London Press, so he wouldn't state something that wasn't handed to him on a plate. Put it that way. Do you know what I mean? McNamara and Ben Thompson were all carrying knocks. Then Ben Thompson comes on at half time for Kieftenbeld. Again, little bit of luck because it was a false change as the game of his life. So I don't know whether that was burnt out, whether he wanted to drop him. I don't know. Here we go. Steve. Well done, Steve. Legend. Romeo is 25. Danny Mac is 22. It's just not. Things with Danny Mac, I love him, but he looks about 15. So I thought he was younger than he actually is. John McKenna says Danny Mac got dropped because Gary Rowett is a fool. He's a fool. Right. So, viewers, please, can we have in the votes Kenny's team, Kieran's team?
Oy.
Do you know what, boys? They're all good sides and they're all different. I think honestly, the most likely, if I had to choose one, I'd personally go with Kenny's team. However, I don't think he will, and I think he's more than likely going to go with a mixture between the two because he's going to play 3 at the back. And again, for me, that's a mistake. I don't think he'll do that forward line, Kieran. I like it, but I don't think he'll do it. I think he's likely to go Smith. If he doesn't play Smith tomorrow, I can see heads rolling. But I like this. Here we go. People are commenting. There we go. Hang on.
It's all going to be Kenny.
No, it's not. It's Kenny. Kenny, but they're all good. Kieran's team all day long, says Bobby. Ken's team, more players in the attacking.
Oh, Joe.
I don't know if he has got more players or he needs more players, but it is an attacking side. Kenny, but yeah, see, agreed with that. Kenny, but risky for Gary Rowett. Kieran's team, Kenny's team. GR will play 5-5-0. Right. I think that's all business attended to, boys, if I'm honest, but we can carry on. I don't know if to give people the opportunity to vote for their team. We can do that if you want, but then it's sort of...
Do you know, I was just going to say, you know, the problem with trying to pick a team now is sort of like in your heads, you sort of, I was sort of half and half. I'm thinking, right, what players would I pick? But at the same time, you're thinking, what's Rowett going to play? And it's kind of a combination of both.
Joe, very well done, because you just saved the show and got us another 20 minutes here with another few thousand views. Because that is what I did actually say at the start of the show is you all pick your side and then you pick the side.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, Kenny's is a good team. I like it, but
you've incorporated you've incorporated what you think Rowett will do. So let's talk about this now and involve everyone in the chat as well. Let everyone get involved as well. So let's start out what we think Rowett will do. Okay, should we do that? Steve, you absolutely. I know you won't mind fucking counting some votes for me. So we'll all go through. So what do we think? Oh, excuse me. What that can happen during lengthy live streams. Then if you want that, think Rowett will do in the group chat. Do you think he'll go 4 at the back, or do you think he'll go 3 at the back? Just put 4 at the back or 3 at the back. Boys, what do you think? I think he'll go 3 at the back. Ken?
He'll go 3 at the back.
Yeah,
Joe?
3 standard.
3 at the back with Bolkowski in goal. Yes, that's what we know.
Yeah,
that's what we know it's going to be so far. Okay, so we'll let the people vote as well. What we think now between us 4 and the people in the chat. Okay, it's working. Steve, sorry, mate, to put that on. If you don't mind counting, that'll be brilliant. I know that's going to be a landslide anyway. So just say 3 at the back or 4 at the back. Well done, Joe, for digging me out there. Is it the right move, 3 at the back, boys, while the votes come in?
Don't change your aim. You know, we're unbeaten in 6.
I'd stick with it.
Well done, Steve. Legend. Thank you. So it's obviously a landslide. It's 3 at the back. Okay. So we know that 3 at the back. Are we all in agreement that 3 at the back is going to be Evans?
Hutchinson and Cooper.
I wrote Pierce. What did I write? Pierce. Hutch. So we all agree, okay, that 3 at the back is going to be Hutchinson, Evans, and Cooper. Do we all agree on that?
Yeah. I don't think we'll see Pierce in a Millwall shirt again.
No,
I think he's gone. I think he's totally gone, Ken.
I think he'll work alongside Williams, though. I don't even think he'll play again.
The thing is with him, he looks good, like to have around the changing rooms. When you see him come on the pitch at the end of the game the other day, he looks like really good for team spirit. But playing wise,
trust me, he runs that dressing room. The players love him. But
I'm surprised he stays that upbeat and stuff. If he's not going to be playing though, that's the thing.
He's at that age now, I guess, though, isn't he?
He's coming to the end as well. Don't forget. I mean, I know he was on loan from Derby, but have I got this wrong? Did Rowett make his move permanent?
No, Neil Harris.
It was Harris.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
The thing is, the great thing about Pierce is that he's all for the team. I mean, you watch him, if he's getting subbed after 35 minutes, you watch him sprint off that pitch, right? And you know, his idea is I'll do anything at any cost for my team to win. And if that means I've got to come off and look stupid after half an hour, then I'll do it. And that's what you got.
Not self-indulgent at all, is he? He's very much he's for the interest of the club, which is what we love.
Yeah.
Now, MFC 1885 says maybe he brings in Muller with Evans in the mid and put Evans in the midfield. That's the only other option at the minute. With Murray Wallace out, he could put Evans into a midfield. Like at half time at Reading, he went 4 at the back, didn't he? And put Evans again. You know, he started 3 at the back, but he went to 4 at the back, which is what won us the game. And we're now at home against a team in 23rd. However, as a group with the viewers, we've agreed it's going to be 3 at the back. As a majority, again, we've agreed that it's going to be Evans, Hutchinson, and Cooper. Hayden Muller. Listen, I watch a lot of the 23s, and this is why sometimes I get angry when people go, "Oh, again, well, what you're racist. You don't like Marlon Romeo. You don't like Tyler Berry." It's complete bollocks. Tyler Berry is not a good player. Trust me. On it, I've watched him for years. Abdul Malik is okay. Nana Boateng, brilliant player. But Hayden Muller is so far and away better than the rest of the 23. It's ridiculous. He's fucking brilliant. But again, at the minute, he's not going to be playing. So I love that thought, MFC, but it's not going to happen. Steve says he thinks he might put Evans in the midfield with Keith and Bell out. I think that, again, I've said this as well, boys, and this is what you just said, Ken, as well. John McKenna said gets his paycheck. I think that's about Pearce. I think that's harsh. Get Williams and Pearson to have different ideas, because you guys have said you've got the nodding dog Adam Barrett and you've got the fucking Mr. iPad. I don't know what he's got a bit of porn up on the iPad. I don't know what Do you know what I mean? You can't listen. You can't trust the man. I don't know Joe Carnell. This is the guy I'm talking about. You can't trust the man that's walking around on a football pitch. It's all going off. Everyone's celebrating. He's walking around with an iPad. Mate, you can leave that in the dressing room. What's wrong with you? I've had too much red. Yeah, Pearce is a great captain. So we've agreed he's 3 at the back. Okay. And I think, can we all agree it's going to be it's going to be Scott Malone left wing back in this instance.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is the first pretty much difficult decision. Again, not what you would all do in the comments, what you think Rowett will do. One name, one answer. I've got pictures ready because I'm prepped. Do you think it's going to be Marlon Romeo at right back? Or do you think Gary Rowett's going to pick Danny McNamara? Not what you would do. What do you think Gary Rowett will do tomorrow? Do you think he'll go with Danny McNamara, who has a lot more to offer going forward, in my opinion? Or do you think he'll play it safe with Marlon Romeo? One name, one vote. Vote. Boys, Kenny, what do you think Rowett will go with tomorrow?
I think he'll definitely go with Romeo.
Kieran?
Yeah, Romeo.
Joe?
Romeo.
And rightly so, boys?
In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
As you say, don't change that winning formula.
Kieran, do you think rightly so?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think Danny is, usually drop a player because you pick out faults in the player in the other position. But I like Danny McNamara. I think he's a good player. I just think Romeo's come in. We've won a couple of games, so why change it?
By the way, in the comments, you're voting for what you think Rowett will do, not who you would pick, who you think he will pick. Ken, the O'Maras are saying Romeo. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw because I will put Danny Mac straight back in.
Yeah, I can't trust Romeo at all. It's one of these things we seem to look at their effort and watch them run about a pitch and then think that they're much better. But technically, I think Danny Mac's better. Defensively, I think Danny Mac's better.
I think it's a little bit playing safe and going with what people think he'll go with and what he should go with based on fan opinion. In my opinion, I think Danny Mac is far and away not just a better player at the minute, but just full of beans, full of confidence.
Yeah.
So we've gone 2-2 in the split of what we think we'll do, but I think he'll play Romeo. Do you think he'll play Romeo, Ken?
Yeah, I do think he'll play Romeo, yeah.
We all agree in here, us four, that we think he'll pick Romeo, and that's what you've got to vote for in the comments. But as a personal choice, me and Kenny would go with Danny Mac. But listen, as I said, and you boys would go Romeo. It's a nice argument to have, isn't it? Connor's gone.
Yeah. It's good to have these headaches.
Just looking through, I don't know, I'm just giving Steve a chance to count, but I think it's quite...
Looks like a landslide for Romeo.
Brian Dublé says it picks itself. Well, do you know what we'll do? We'll pick his team, what we think he'll go with, and then once it gets released tomorrow, we'll compare it in the next stream. Good question. I think it should, but the safer we get, I don't think it will. Funnily enough, I think if we got in this shit, I think he'd go more with that because he knows what it entails. Steve confirms, thank you very much, Stephen, that the vote was for Marlon Romeo. So at the minute, we've got Bolkowski in goal. We've agreed as a group that it's going to be Evans, Hutchinson and Cooper as the three centre-backs, with Romeo right wing-back and Malone left wing-back. Again, that's what we think Gary Rowett's going to go with. So it means 2 central midfielders.
Can I just say that?
Go on, mate.
This is the absolute problem, is that last comment that just come up is, would we see Danny Mack, would we see Mitchell, and who was the other one?
Mitchell Thompson and McNamara.
Would we see them in the same lineup? And the only reason we would see them in the lineup is if we were in the shit, because they could get us out of it. Yeah. And that's the problem. Why are we not playing these players to make sure we're not in the shit?
Stubbornness in belief in it may not be stubbornness. It may be a complete belief in what he believes is right. But you're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right saying, Ken. Do you know what I mean? If it went too far to shit, he'd go, "Oh fuck me, yeah, I'm going to have to play a Mule type players." And like he did with Thompson for a long time. And like I said, listen, Thompson ain't the greatest player in the world, but he's just Millwall-esque, isn't he?
Yeah,
here we go. Marlon Romeo, back to life, back to reality. There's, of course, a play on words of Marlon Romeo's dad was in Soul to Soul, wasn't he? Back to... And someone's agreeing with you, Ken. Okay, boys, so central midfield. So let's go through our central midfielders. We've got Ryan Leonard out injured, 2 to 3 months with ankle ligaments. We've got, I don't know, I'm looking down there. I haven't got anything written down. I'm doing myself a disjustice. I know all this in my head. We've got Billy Mitchell just come back from fitness, come on the pitch the other day. Maybe it could be a risk to start him. That's up for argument's sake. Sean Williams apparently injured, fractured toe. The goal he helped concede last week would suggest it's not right with him. Keith Bell injured. So let's do it this way. First choice, central midfield tomorrow out of a 2. Who's he picking? First choice, one name. I don't even know what.
Woods. All day long.
Woods,
you know that.
It is Woods.
It's like we're all psychic.
Yeah, it's fucking. It is Woods.
Stop playing. I've got who now, mate? I'm back on the market. What the fuck? Right. I think we can all agree, and it's a landslide already. And I'd agree with this. I don't want my judgment to be shadowed, obviously, for obvious reasons, but yes, he did. Stop playing with yourself. Fucking hell. Right, so we all agree.
If Williams is injured, could he not put George Evans in centre midfield, and could he put Pearce in, maybe?
That's what I think. Give that option, but he's not going to do that.
I don't think he'll do that.
The first choice central midfielder is Woods, or as Steve Lees likes to call him, Ginger T-Rex arms. Right, so Woods is going in central midfield. Again, this is what we think Gary Rowett will pick. So there's another central midfield place up for grabs. Like Kieran correctly says, Evans is now at the equation because he's in the back 3. I'm going to start doing this on my phone so I can put it on the screen. So available central midfielders.
Thompson, is that it?
Ben Thompson. I don't know if Sean Williams is fit. And Billy Mitchell. Now, what do you think? Who do you think he'll partner Woods with tomorrow in the centre of midfield?
Thompson.
I
think it's too soon for Billy Mitchell to start, and we don't really know what's happening with Sean Williams. So I think we're only down to one choice for Thompson, really. I think we're very limited in that area.
You know what?
Go on, carry on.
He could stick Bennett in with him.
Or he could. Didn't Jed almost play as a central midfielder? When he came on Saturday?
It was the same as Bennett. They were sort of a lot further forward. They were more like a cam, weren't they?
I think that would be desperation, though, to put. If he's got Thompson there, he's got to.
He'd play Billy Mitchell than doing that. Like, you know,
I think I'm only going to say I think that he doesn't really rate Thompson, and I think that he doesn't want to play Thompson deep for the reasons that I said. I don't think he minds playing Thompson further up to cause that upset. Michael Eastman's going for Bavardson in the central midfield role. But
wait, that would not surprise me. He'll find
Jesus
any way to
Christ.
get him in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you remember this as well, by the way? I mean, rolling back the years a bit, Steve
Oh,
Morrison
yeah.
says, do you remember that when he said, yeah, Fergie can
I
play?
do remember that.
Yeah, Dave Turner says it as well.
Didn't we? I'm sure we see him once or twice play central midfield, and he
I can't
actually looked
remember.
all right.
I don't think he did, Joe.
Nah,
No,
I'm
I think
sure
he-
I see it.
did. I think he did.
Yeah.
Didn't he get sent off playing there in one game? Can't remember.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
Shane Ferguson. But a few people were saying Shane Ferguson can.
Yeah, but like I said, I think
2-1 to Derby, by the way. That's not good for us, boys. Fuck me. Right, so I think, okay, so the vote is, I think, personally, I think he might put Pearce in and put Evans in the midfield.
that's
But that's null and void now. That's null and void because of the votes, the way it's gone, this is a democracy.
It's only because I realised, literally, until I realised Evans could play there, I thought, oh, he might chuck Pearce in.
I think he should start Billy Mitchell. I don't think he'll start Thompson. I think if he can get an injection in Williams' toe, although he shouldn't, he'll start him. But available from what we've got left, which is pretty much now, Williams or Thompson or Mitchell. I don't even know if Williams is fit. That's the problem. Let's say Thompson. I think Thompson's got the vote as well.
Yeah, I would say Thompson just because
Thompson, yeah.
I'd love to see Thompson and Mitchell together. But if you've only got that one spot available, you're going to have to go with a guy that's definitely fit for 90 minutes. You know, you can't just chuck Mitchell in for. You'd rather give Thompson 60 minutes and then stick Mitchell on for half hour, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Right, okay, so we've got Bolkowski in goal, 3 centre-backs, Evans, Hutchinson, Cooper, Romeo, right wing-back, Malone, left wing-back, Woods and Thompson, central midfield. Now we've got to put a number 10 in. Or do we go 3 up front? 3 up front. 10.
I think a 10 he's going to do because that's what we've been playing, isn't it?
I think he'll pick that 10. To be fair, I think he'll pretty much go for a similar formation to what I've out there. The 10 and then the 2.
Yeah, I think so as well. So we're agreeing he's going to go with a 10.
Shed.
Who do we think is going to be in that 10? Who do you think Gary Rowett will put in that 10? Have a think. People can vote. People start voting in the comments. So you've got as options, you've got Jed, you've got Bennett, you've got Bavard.
You could say Bradshaw.
I think he'll do Bennett because he done a similar thing to Blackburn at home last season. He played Bennett in a 10.
Yeah, I think Bennett's come off the bench. I think Bennett's proved his worth, and rightly so should play in the 10 tomorrow. So I'm going to say Bennett.
Yeah.
All agreed?
Yeah.
Again, please vote what you think Gary Rowett will do, not what you would personally do. And it looks like a Bennett. Joe Holloway, I like this guy. He speaks sense, but he's gone for a different way around things. I reckon it'll be Bennett on the left, Bradshaw or Bod striker, and then Wallace on the right. Backlash, boys, if that happens tomorrow, and he don't start.
He's got to start Smith.
No, he will start Bod Varson.
You know Bod Varson's got to get away in there no matter what.
It's like, I look at the thing and, you know, the Ricky Gervais, I see Bod Varson. Oh, for fuck's sake.
G. Rowett builds his team around Bod Varson, mate.
It's like, I would love to see what this geezer does in training. Like, because, honestly, like...
He walks around training like that.
Yes. He's a clown, mate. He's
you know what? Right? I don't like to hammer players. Well, I do. But what he is, when he signed for us, we signed this Icelandic striker and whoosh and all the clap. I thought he was going to be airy, skinhead, big fucker, like up for it. He couldn't be any further from what you'd picture an angry Icelandic.
Do you remember we went? You come with us. We went to Oxford away in the thing, and he looked all right then.
Yeah, he looked decent. Yeah, against League One or were they League Two at the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
But
the thing is with Bod Varson, right? I sometimes hate giving him stick because I'm sure deep down he's personally a really nice fella, but he just ain't good for us, man.
Don't care, man.
It frustrates me when I see him on the pitch.
Mate,
He plays a lovely tune on the guitar, apparently, Budvarsson.
That's what I'm saying. On social media, he looks all right guy.
mate,
Yeah, but like, listen, I'm with
done
Kieran. I've got loyalty. Listen, the fans are forever. I've got no loyalty to players and fucking managers. I don't give a fucking nice day. I want fucking results.
No, but the thing is, it's not like we want these players. Like, I don't sit there and fucking want Budvarsson to fail. I want him to do good.
Yeah, exactly.
I watch him, and it's like, I remember I was like, at my girlfriend's house, and he just done something. I ended up just going, right. I put my head in my hands. I thought, because she was like, I asked her a question. I went, oh, see if you can name me one Millwall player. And she went, yeah, Budvarsson. I went, how do you know that one? She goes, because all you do is coat him off. And I'm like, there you go. The answer's there.
It's true what Kieran says, though. I'd love him to turn around and score 2 goals tomorrow. Then I'd be like, I'll raise my hands up. I've said that I'm sorry. And
he can legitimately do that, can't he? He can legitimately give one of them to the fans.
Yeah. But
so let's have a talk so far where we are with this. We've got, as a group, as the boys in the chat and in the comments, we've decided that it's going to be Bolkowski in goal. We think this is the team we think Rowett will go with as a group. Bolkowski in goal, Cooper, Hutchinson, Evans, 3 centre-backs, Romeo, Malone bombing on from wing-backs with Woods and Thompson in the centre of midfield and Bennett in a 10. Now we move on to the strikers, okay? Graham White just throws one in there and just says, buy one bod, get one free. This is harsh, right? But at the same time, he just looks like he's just nothing there, doesn't it? He looks like he hasn't got any go in him, which I think is a reflection on his game, not just his personality. Right. People are already putting in the comments.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So don't put 2 people. So we've got 2 strikers available. Who is the first choice striker of the 2 strikers available? With Bennett in behind in a 10. Who is the first choice striker tomorrow, boys? Put one name in the comments. One name in the comments. Who you think Gary Rowett will pick, Ken?
Budvarsson.
I fucking agree. I don't know why.
All day long, mate. You know it's going to happen.
He's going to score an hat-trick, and I just want to see Kieran's face when he does it.
Mate, I'd love him to. I would love him to.
I know.
Like,
but pigs may fly.
Mate, yeah. We can all dream.
So are we all saying, so I'm just uploading some graphics. So I think personally, Gary Rowett will pick Budvarsson as his first choice striker of 2.
Yeah, 100%.
Are we all agreeing on that, boys?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Let's see what they're saying in the comments. I'm going to put it up on the screen quickly, if I can. Sorry, it's difficult to do all the fucking talking, all the graphics. Get the violins out. Hang on. One man army. Is there somewhere? No, that's that. Is that? I think this is it. Right, I think I've got it on the screen coming up. So this is what we've agreed with so far. That's not what we've agreed with so far. Ignore that. So who's the first choice striker tomorrow that he picks of the 2 strikers? I think he picks Budvarsson as the main striker with Bennett in behind in the 10. I am still trying to find. I do apologise.
How horrendous does that sound?
I know. You just know it's going to fucking happen.
Budvarsson will be the first striker on the team sheet.
him along with Woods are the first 2 names on the team sheet.
Yeah, that's the fucking worrying thing. That's the worrying thing.
I remember seeing an interview the other week, right, and Gary Rowett come out, and he was one of the worst players on the pitch. He goes, and special credit to John up front today. I thought he led the line excellent. In transition, he was very good with his passing. I thought, what are you seeing here, mate?
That's a really good impression, to be fair.
I actually thought Gary Rowett was behind me then.
The old man loves it. He goes, now, Kieran, you got to get on there and show Dan your impression.
There you go, Pete. He loves an impression. Right, yeah. So what we saying? Have a look in the comments. Yeah, people are loving the impression.
Oh, you got to do it again, Kieran.
Yeah, do a little bit more.
I just thought that maybe we imposed ourselves a bit better on the game. When Muzz has picked up the ball, he's put a great ball into Smudge. And I just thought that maybe we had them extra couple of chances, but we just done what we had to do. We done what we had to do. And yeah, I just thought that sometimes we was lacking in that midfield area.
That's bang on, mate.
It's fine.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, no, you did go Sean Dyche at halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did go.
It's risky. It's a gravelly tone, isn't it? It's a risky one. But that was very, very good. Right. Okay. So we've got Bavardson. Okay. So who's the second striker going to be tomorrow? I don't think Zahor's fit. So is it going to be basically? Is it going to be Bradshaw or is it going to be Smith? What do you think Gary Rowett's going to go with in the comments?
You've also got Wallace there. We ain't got him in yet.
Wallace, yeah.
Oh fuck me, we haven't got him in.
No, Jed Wallace will be there.
So is it Jed Wallace or is it going to be Matt Smith that starts tomorrow?
Jed.
I honestly don't know with this one.
Oh, this is tough.
I'll tell you what, if you start Matt Smith,
Do you think, in the comments, do you think with his last position in the team, it's going to be Jed, Smith, or Bradshaw? He surely he can't. I was going to say,
I honestly don't know with this one.
Bradshaw and Bavardson and Lee, but he has played them too, hasn't he?
Did you know what? I think last time they played together, they didn't actually play that badly.
I think we were so bad at that point that anything looked better than what we was doing. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, this last one, I can't call this. I
think it will be Jed because Jed's been all right that last couple of games.
I think Jed or Smith. I wouldn't rule out him putting Smith in there. Because Jed, you think Jed ain't started the last few games, has he?
He hasn't. Now we're playing like a lower side as well. So will he give Jed that extra rest? And you said it earlier, Joe. Was it you saying? He'll start with a team and have the luxury of. I think it might have been Connor actually. Bring Jed on if need be. I think you.
I don't know.
It's looking like Jed. I
think he won't drop Jed. I don't think. No.
Cannot put Jed up front.
What do you mean he won't drop Jed, Keir? He ain't started the last two.
Who, Jed?
Yeah,
but it's because he's been carrying an injury, innit? I think.
I don't know.
Do you know what? Here's a little bit of a whisper as well. Here's a little bit of a whisper that I do know for a fact. I know that Jed likes playing with Bavardson because they used to play together, didn't they? They was together at Wolves. And I know Jed likes playing with Bavardson.
Fucking Jesus!
How though? There was literally one point the other day that frustrated me so much with him. Right, I think Ken Zahor's got the ball down the wing somewhere, and Bavarson's standing on Zahor's toes. While he's got the ball, he didn't move. I was like, what is he doing? Zahor's got the ball and he's standing right next to him.
I'll tell you one thing though, right? I will tell you one thing that I think someone put on Twitter and I had to retweet because it was quality. Because if someone misses it, say if like Matt Smith missed a chance, you go, fuck's sake. If Bodvarsson missed it, go, for fuck's sake, it's shit.
That's football though, isn't it? That's the way it is. When someone's missed so many chances, you can't odds that. We're always going to be like that.
I think he gets a little bit of unfair fucking criticism. He isn't great, but he isn't. No.
I don't.
I don't think he's the scapegoat that everyone insists he is. Right, okay, so we voted. We've been enjoying a few beers, boys, and fuck it, why not? It's lockdown. So the votes have gone to shit, but I can tell you that judging by what we said as a 4 and what the viewers have contributed, that this is the team that we think Gary Rowett is going to go with tomorrow. Again, it's not the team that we'd pick, but this is what we think Gary Rowett is going to go. So I know it's going to get to fucking 6 p.m. tomorrow, and it's going to go, here is today, starting 11, and you're going to see Bavardson in it. That's what we think as a group, as a democracy in the Lions TV group, that what we think tomorrow's team will be. Bolkowski in goal, Cooper, Hutchinson, Evans, 3 centre-backs, Romeo right wing-back, Scott Malone left wing-back, 2 central midfielders, the pairing of Ben Thompson and Ryan Woods, with Bennett in a 10, Jed and John Daddy Bavardson as a striker. Obviously, Bennett will join in probably shift a little bit left. Jed will probably shift a little bit right. And Bavarsson will be that central striker. Can we win the game with that? And will there be a severe backlash if Matt Smith starts? I'll ask all three of that question. I don't mind who starts.
Severe backlash if Bavarsson starts, or
pardon?
Do you mean severe backlash if Bavarsson starts?
I mean, if Smith doesn't start after.
I get what you mean now. Right.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So if Bavarsson starts, or anyone starts over Smith, not just Bavarsson, that's what we've agreed as a group, which we think he'll go with tomorrow. I'm going to be very interested to see now tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Don't forget, it's a 7 p.m. kickoff. I'll be live streaming from 6:30 tomorrow for the 7 p.m. kickoff. I think we're nearly there. I'm just not sure if he'll play Thompson. I think he personally, I know we've all voted this as a group. I personally think that will be the team, but I think he'll put Evans in midfield and put Pearce in the back three, which I think will be a massive mistake, but I think he'll do it. Boys, what do we think? Do we think we can First off, do we think we can win the game with that team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think the thing with Rowett, right? That there's been a few games where, especially the last few, where you look at the starting lineup and you think, what the hell is that? Like, a lot of his starting lineups I ain't agreed with in the slightest, and there's a lot of but we've actually ended up playing all right and getting something out of the game, even with Bodvarsson up top. So that's still we can still win it with that side, in my opinion.
We can win it. There's only one person on that pitch that can score a goal. So Bennett scored, granted, but very rarely scores. Bavarsson rarely scores. Jed can't finish his dinner. Thompson scored a freak goal the other day. Woods can't shoot. Romeo can't shoot, won't shoot. Cooper and Hutchinson haven't scored from a set piece for ages.
That's true.
And Malone is the only person that looks like scoring a goal. So we're only going to win if Malone goes on another Gascoigne run. And
do you know what? As funny as all that, as comical of you said all that, you are absolutely spot on. There's no goals on that pitch, is there? Really?
No.
But you say that, right? I've said that the last few games. I've said, I can't see where we're going to score. There's no goals in that. And then we end up scoring 4 against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, but that was from the substitute.
Yeah, but still, I didn't, even if with that team on the subs, like last 10 games, I ain't seen us scoring. And we still done it. So I don't know. It's very tough to tell at the minute. With us,
I honestly believe what's more criminal than having Bodvarsson in the team is Jed playing up front.
What I will say is, though, I know we're. Oh, hang on, sorry. I know we're putting it like this at the minute, but it will almost be Bennett joining in left, I think, with Jed going
probably,
and Bavarsson central. So Jed will be up there more. I mean, look, he's like a fucking. Do you know what he's like? He's like a wasp you trap in your car in the summer, Jed, isn't he? And Ben Thompson's similar. They're fucking like that, and they can't get out the window, and they just buzz in. So I know what you're saying, Ken. You think he's better on the right. I prefer him central. I think he offers more, and I think he's the only one that can dictate play if he's on song, which isn't always the fucking case.
Do you know what? I'd agree with Ken before. If you asked me like a few games back, I think Jed striker. But when some of the games recently, he played up top, didn't he, in the front two, and I think he actually looked all right. So I think why not go with it again?
Oh yeah.
This is a really good point. This is a really good point. Sorry, from Mad Mike, whose real name is Chris. I've got him now. I know he is. Second half will tell again. And listen, it has been a game of two halves recently, and we've all criticised that in a way today, going, why don't we go and win the game on a front foot? As long as you win a game over 90 minutes or get a result, it doesn't really matter whether it happens in the first or the second. But going back to what we all said earlier, I think it does reiterate the fact we've got a lot of impact players and not enough starting players. Would you agree, boys?
Yeah, that's what I've said.
Yeah.
Steve Lees makes a good point. He said, one last thing. What's your thoughts on maybe making Keith the captain to drive it all from midfield?
I'll leave it out.
Do you not think? Well, Keith can build. Listen, do you not think so? I mean, look, it'd be harsh to take it off.
Listen, maybe in the future.
If he's been at the club for a long time, then but
listen, I know it sounds stupid, right? People are, but I'd rather have flipping Ben Thompson as a captain and put someone like Keith. I know Keith Bell's done it there. He's been there at Birmingham, but like Pierce has come and he's a natural leader. He's took it by storm, and look what he's done. But I feel like
he's a captain, Pierce, but he's not a very good player. That's the thing. And
but I think
captain, he can't even get in the side, which by default throws it to Hutchinson, doesn't it?
I do think like what is Hutchinson? I always think like what must Hutchinson be like as a leader, because he comes and goes as a captain, and like he's a good player, but has he got that leadership about him? Has he got that thing like Pierce has got where he's vocal on the pitch and
Yeah, that's true.
Good question. I don't think he's
not
that vocal on the pitch.
Yeah, he don't seem it.
Yeah, or you can just do what Ian Holloway done and make Sid Nelson captain after 5 games.
What a calamity that was.
Steve Morrison's shitting on your boys' parade. He says Harris gave Pierce the armband 7 weeks after signing him.
Yeah, but it's because Pierce...
The difference between 7 weeks. Clifton Bell's been here like 2 weeks.
Pierce has been the captain. He was the captain at Reading. He was at Derby. He was the captain at Derby. He went to Bristol City on loan for 3 months, and after 2 months of being there, he was made captain. Like,
so this conversation, sorry, Kieran, the conversation we're having here now, who should be captain? Hutchinson gives his all on the pitch, but I think he's quite a quiet character around the dressing room. Again, we can only see what we see on the pitch, but there's so much more to not just the footballers and their ways around the dressing room. He's not vocal enough.
I was going to say the same with Cooper.
For captain, if you had to have a skipper, so we can pretty much rule out now, can't we? We can rule out Pierce because, as Kenny said, he's done that. He's not really going to play. So, if you had to pick a skipper, boys, would you stick with Hutch or would you switch it to someone else?
Bob Varson.
I'd stick with Hutch, to be honest. I can't, even though we say he ain't that vocal, I can't really see who else he'd give it to unless he gives it to the keeper. How many captain keepers you get these days? I don't know.
Do you know what? He's not really a big influence either. Bart, he's a good keeper, but he's not vocal, I don't think.
Yeah.
There's Jed or Malone.
I'll tell you what, listen, this is
a tricky one.
Quite a good thing.
It's a good question. It's one we've never ever fucking...
Jed, maybe, yeah. Jed seems quite vocal.
Your brother says, why not give Jed the armband?
Like, you see in the games, you see in the things at full time as well, and you always see Jed in amongst, like, the videos and stuff. Like, he seems like very vocal, seems like he's got a lot of banter about him, like, and his interviews and stuff. So maybe, I don't know.
That's true.
He's got potential,
a massive mixed bag here. Your old man, Ken, is in. He says, Bart. Cooper leads by example. I think not always vocally, but what you achieve. The fact that we've got these players who are really, really rating it upsets me to say it. They drop like flies, these Mahoneys of this world, the fucking Bennett's of this world. Cooper dislocated his shoulder and wants to play on. He does lead by example. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? No, we don't have this. We don't have this anymore. And if you look back at our recent captains or past captains, you can... Tony Craig, good example. Tony Craig, he was very vocal, very physical. We don't actually have that on the pitch anymore.
No, we don't. No.
I'll tell you one person that you could turn around and say that they really riled the team up, and
Robbo.
They tackle the player. Yeah, Robbo, tackling the players, and then they're getting up, they're celebrating. We don't have any of that. The last person we had probably was Morrison.
What about that one?
Morrison was a good captain, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? If someone had said that to me a year ago, I'd have said, you're off your fucking tits, Steve Morrison. But now...
But I don't think he's that vocal either, is he?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. He looks like he doesn't seem the sort of character that... He's not a leader for me, Ryan Leonard.
Oh, no, he is. Without saying too much, he's definitely an influence in the dressing room and stuff. But like you just said, Ken, and Michael Heisman agrees, we need a Paul Robinson type player. And I think that's what we've got in the Hutchinson mould. I think Cooper's a great shout because I think Cooper's probably one of our best players. What about people saying Jed for... I mean, look, it just proves that there's no nailed-on solution because there's so many opinions.
Personally, I don't think you can look further than Hutch at the minute.
Yes.
No, I think you're right. But you know what Steve Lee said? Maybe next season, something like that. Maybe that Keith Bell could be the player that.
Yeah.
big bollock and bite is the vocal. But not right now. Not right now.
Steve Lee's constantly going in on Ryan Woods. I mean, look, Williams, he is aging now, Williams, maybe a couple of years ago, but as much as I love him, and people don't listen to what I say in the fucking videos, he is done there. I do understand that, but he's been brilliant for us. But it's an interesting, it's a very good question to have, isn't it? Do you know what? Yeah. No one's meant, not one person by the way, as much as we say he's a Millwall player, not one person's mentioned Ben Thompson in that argument once.
I said Ben Thompson. I said at the start. I said Ben Thompson.
Sorry, I didn't hear. Sorry.
Yeah, I said Ben Thompson. I said where he's been at our club at a while. Like I said, it's not like Sid Nelson walked in after 5 games. He's been in our club for a while now, and but like I said, it depends how confident he is in taking on that role.
Yeah. The problem is he going to be a solid starter?
Sorry, before I forget it, to change the argument and look at it from a different angle, are we lacking a leader? The fact that some people were saying Evans and some people were saying Kieftenbeld for captain. Yeah. So are we lacking a leader in this sense?
I think we are lacking a leader in the sense that we've got to keep Pearce just to keep him in the dressing room. To keep him as a captain. That obviously goes to show that we are lacking a leader if you actually sit back and look at it, because we're going, oh no, we should keep Pearce in and around the dressing room. Well, obviously it shows we need a leader, doesn't it?
Yeah, Thompson, true. I mean, Thompson, I'm not going to say, but Thompson was on his way out of the club, and he was, and Rowett had to change his mind on him. So, like Joe rightly says, I don't think that for as long as Rowett's the manager, Thompson's got a real big future. Depends what Keith's English is like. I suppose that's an argument all in itself, but. Right, boys, 2 hours and 5 minutes. I've very much enjoyed it, but I need a piss, and I won't lie, I'm a little bit drunk. So I'm going to go and have some sweet and sour chicken, Uncle Ben style. Let's finish with tomorrow predictions. Start with you, Ken. We'll go top to bottom.
I'm going for a Millwall 4, Birmingham City 1.
Fuck it. And hang on. You just said there's no... Oh, no, mind you, you said there's no... No, you're right. You said there's no goals in the team that we picked together. Yeah. But you didn't pick that team personally. So who's going to get the 4?
Matt Smith hat trick.
Oh, fucking hell. That Cocodamo's kicking in. Go
on. This is if Matt Smith started. I'll go Matt Smith hat trick and Dad Bod to get the other. And Joe, what? I reckon we'll go 1-0 down before we kick on.
As fucking standard, mate, innit? So you're saying 4-1, Matt Smith hat-trick.
Yep.
Have you got money on that as well, by the way? Because you said earlier, didn't you, about doubling it? Your missus is listening. Don't say how much you got on it. Joe?
Do you know what? I said in my pre-match prediction, I think this is going to be one of them. We get a bit carried away and we'll get kicked back down to earth. But saying that, I'm going to go with 1-1. And I'm going to say... Bradshaw to get a goal coming off the bench.
I think he's pressing for a start, Bradshaw, but I've covered that. Kieran, what are you saying tomorrow, mate?
Same as Joe, 1-1. I think, like I said, we'll all get excited, and then I think just before half time, and the first goal scorer for Birmingham, Scott Hogan. I think it'll be 1-0 Birmingham. Second half, I think Mason Bennett's going to equalise. I think we'll finish 1-1. I think it'll be a proper stalemate.
What do you think Gary Rowett's post-match analysis will be of that?
I just thought that we didn't impose ourselves on the game. I think we lack that spark sometimes, with Lenny. Well, we won't even be playing, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought Tomo offered us something completely different in areas when we brought him on. That's been my hidden party trick for a while.
Fucking hell. Wait, you got a seat next week on the show. Don't worry about
that. Yes, because I've got all the literally. Do you know, like all the staff training stuff? I've got the whole lot from the Dad laughs because I come in and I'm all kitted out of this meal gear and I go, oh yeah, and he sits there and goes.
It's so good. 5-0 was the bag to him, Bavas to the perfect hat trick. You've been on a Coda.
We can all dream. Bit more than that, I think.
Harry Lavelle Baker's going for a 2-1 Wall win, Bradshaw and Hutch. Connor believes in Mystic Kenny. Remember you used Mystic Ken? The first ever prediction you did on the channel, you predicted Millwall 3, Everton 2 in the FA Cup. Ain't got fucking one right since.
I haven't got one right since. Yeah, you couldn't make it up. Could not make it up.
Steve, listen, I hope it fucking isn't. People are loving your thing, Kieran. We might have to get you to do an actual video.
That's Steve McLaren as well, Connor's just pointed out.
I said, do your Steve McLaren.
No, let's not ruin it. Let's keep it with.
That's what I'm saying. I said I'm not gonna. I'm keeping it where it is. Keep your reputation intact.
Steve Lee's going for 3-0. Bennett, Smith, Cooper, a nice array of players. MFC ain't invites to Chase. Oh, boys, it's been brilliant. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Jenny Boy and Smith for a 2-1 win. It's a confident bunch, and I think we'll get the job done tomorrow. I hope I'm right. I'll be live streaming from 6:30. I'll be speaking to Kieran for a post-match analysis, Gary Rowett style, about 9:15. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Boys, stay on the line. I'll talk to you after.
Love it.
Come on, you Lions.